Hello. Welcome to part 3 of the Wolf Thing Witch Massacre. This week this month we are speaking about witches
or
and
witchcraft.
Whatever you want to say. Bit of both. Do what you want. But as always we'll be Reverendo Jenk. I don't know why I'm going Italian with it. I'm fucking Reverendo Jenk this week.
It's a bit more Spanish.
No, it's Italian, isn't it? It's if you've played Mario games. I know this.
Yeah. Oh no!
Yes, if you've been very stereotypically racist towards Italian people, it's Reverendo Green. Reverendo Green was that's from Father Ted, isn't it?
Yes.
Not witches. But this month, I done it again. Witches, witchcraft. What the fuck is it? Why the fuck is it? Who the fuck is it?
History, where it came from, where it started.
Got 99 problems, but a witch ain't one. Witch, please. Yes, so where are my bad witches at? What are we talking about more?
All over the place.
Reverendo Jenk, and of course, as always,
Pastor Mauve. I'm just sticking with this.
He's sticking
region.
I kind of wanted to go for Father McFeely instead, just for the utter piss take of pedophile priests.
Do it.
Yeah.
If anyone has the
Father McFeely,
if anyone deserves having the piss taken out of them, it would be paedophile.
It would be the Catholic Church that knives people.
I mean, we're going to go deep into the Catholic Church today for quite a significant section of mine.
Yeah, there is a holy crusade that it's got something to do with witchcraft.
A lot of it to do with witchcraft. About as much to do with witchcraft as it hasn't got anything to do with witchcraft.
Yeah,
it's a big fucking excuse. Naughty priests,
bastards.
Naughty Catholic Church, naughty religion.
Naughty religion.
It's all wank.
It's all wank.
It's all wank.
So what do you want to go into? Shall we go straight into history? Do you want to talk a little bit about something else?
We can do something else. Shall we spin it around on its head this week?
You want me to go for some? Do you want me to go for something? Some true crime.
True crime. True crime.
Let's go. True crime. So the true crime, we've got some really, really old shit. One of the most famous witch-style witchingnesses is the Pendlewitch Trials in 1612, 17th century witches. It was Pendle Hill.
Pendle Hill.
In England.
Pendle Hill. I've been.
You've been? Have you been?
I've been there with my mum and dad years and years and years ago.
Any witches?
There wasn't many there.
No, they killed them all, didn't they?
I mean,
literally.
It would be pointless story if they didn't.
Yeah.
It would just be known as Pendle Hill.
Yeah.
A place to see a hill.
Yeah. I mean,
aside from that, there's nothing much else there.
Nah, it's a hill. It had a family on, but then people decided they were witches and killed the fuck out of them. So there was 12 accused of murdering 10 people using witchcraft. That was 9 women. And hang on, that make no sense. This is 11 accused, I think, of murdering 10 people using witchcraft. 9 women and 2 men. It was 10 were hung. So 1 or 2. No, 2 were found not guilty. No, 1 was found not guilty. Sorry. 10 were hung.
We are
1 was feeling not guilty.
I've
just got a fucking stutter. Maybe it's a witch fucking with me.
Maybe.
So the accused, right, this is my these are the people that I don't know who's innocent, found innocent on this because I couldn't really find track of it. But the was Elizabeth Summons, aka instead of so there's a couple of people
who
who
had nicknames then.
They had aka last names, and her last name, her aka, was Demdike. It sounds a little bit like a lesbian rapper claiming it back.
I mean,
Demdike. Her daughter, right? Her name was Elizabeth DeVoice. What kind of fucking name is DeVoice? So right, and then her children, James DeVoice and Alison DeVoice.
It's a fucking terrible name. No wonder they turned to the devil.
I know, yeah.
If there's ever a reason.
And then her other daughter, Anne Whittle, a.k.a. Chattox.
Whittle, I've heard that name.
Whittle. She was, she was...
They were bastards.
They're all bastards.
They were utter bastards. A lot of them were.
They were like fuckers with each other. Well, look, I'll get to this. Let me go through this. So there was... and her daughter. So the first woman, Elizabeth Southerns, one of her grandchildren had a daughter. How old is that bitch? It's fucking 16, 12. No wonder they thought she was a fucking witch. Staying alive that fucking long back then. Yeah. Honest to God, she must have literally had a fucking sword in her neck.
They were all homeschooled as well. A lot of them were. That's why it all passed on through the family.
Maybe that's the answer to long life. Yeah, stay at home. Just learn some shit. Dude, just Google it. Just Google it. That's it. And her daughter, her granddaughter's daughter, was Anne Redfern, and that they were all one family. Mm-hmm. They were one family of, and then the other family, or the other people who were close community, if not family, were Jane Bulcock and John Bulcock.
No one's winning awards for names, are they?
If John Bulcock had a small cock,
he'd be pretty gutted.
That is like fucking dude. There's a woman called Alice Nutter.
Bulcock and Nutter. It's like a comedy show.
Bulcock and Nutter.
Bulcock and Nutter.
It's like it, but I think it'd be as shit as when James Corden and the other guy that he did a show with did a show. What's his name from fucking Gavin and Stacey?
I mean, the only
reason. Matt, James Corden's friend. When they did that show, that was utterly shit. I think the only bit
of respect I have for him is because he also thinks that James Corden is cancerous upon the human race. That guy needs to...
Yeah. If anything, he needs to be celebrated, except for he's in that new film, Nan. Fuck that shit.
Is that one with fucking...
yeah.
That horrible... I can't
Catherine
stand
Tate.
She's not funny.
Let's burn her as a witch. She's not funny. Catherine Hewitt... Alice Gray and Janet Preston. They were all kind of seen as kind of like traditional healers. So people in this day and age that would definitely have a Holland and Barrett loyalty card.
If you went back to say 1313 AD, Holland and Barrett would be taken out, hung, stoned, and everything.
Yeah, even if
holistic remedies would have you bopped.
I mean, I am any fan of the Goat Sessions may know that I am a card owner of the Holland and Barrett. It's brilliant.
My old CBD capsules I get from there.
But it seems like between the two families that they did a lot of the accusing, and everyone kind of picked up on it. From what I get, everyone kind of was going. They were saying they're witches. That it was a lot of he said, she said. Bullshit.
It's only a small place as well.
A lot of he said, she said, ball cock.
It's only a small place as well, so accusations tend to just fall at your doorstep.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Like if
number 20 down the road,
yeah.
It's them.
It's like
it would be as if my street suddenly went, there's witches.
I've written here Jeremy Kyle with witch deaths. That's what I think it may have been like.
I tell you what, right? Can you imagine? I mean, obviously TV didn't exist back in them days, and obviously times prior to that. But just imagine. I mean, we don't know.
I understand. I'm not saying. I think they did that.
We don't know, do we? We don't know the form of entertainments these people had back in these ancient times. I mean, obviously Colosseums and whatnot. But imagine in the Colosseum they had a program or a show that was similar to Joe McCall today, where they literally had some part of the royal. Well, not the royalty.
I think it would have been like. I think the where they used to have public trials and then hang the person. That's basically Jeremy Kyle back in the day.
Equivalent now, it's just fucking idiots of estates.
So that what I've written there is fucking spot on. They were just fucking crazy motherfuckers.
Toothless fuckers on stage.
Yeah.
How would that work?
I reckon that's where Adidas came from.
Well, I know she fucked the devil. Now I'm with the devil. Get a pregnancy test done.
It is the devil's baby, isn't it? Just him going mad at him.
I saw your phone. There's a fucking text on there.
I do think that Jeremy Kyle is
you and Mary Este, you dirty fuckers.
He's the modern witchfinder general, isn't he?
We've already named in the first 5 minutes 3 utter bastards that I would like to see.
Jeremy Kyle,
James Corden, and his mate. Although
Matt Horn.
I
remembered his name.
I'll give him some respect. He realised that he was a fat waste of skin and hair.
It took him too long, though, if I'm honest.
What I want to say to
I could have told him that fucking seconds.
If there's anyone currently on the streets of America that happens to drive past him in a car and he's singing, run the fucker off the road.
Yeah.
Just do it.
Just do it.
Prison time will be easy for you because the world will celebrate you as not only a hero but a saint.
Yeah, especially if he has Red Hot Chili Peppers in the back of the car. I
cannot stand him. He's a fucking... I hate him.
We're going to put a spell on him.
I hate him.
Because he's mine. Okay, right, so some more real cases, right?
Go for it.
Jeanette De Palma, 16, so her body was found in September of 1972 in Springfield, New Jersey. Last seen on the way to meet a friend at a train station. 6 hours later, 6 weeks after being reported missing, a dog walker found her. Right.
As you do.
Stop walking your fucking dogs. Stop walking them because you're going to come across a corpse. You've got a dog.
I mean, I can't walk him at the moment, but yeah.
He's got a fuck leg. Probably moves because Moore's dog
Leo
has a fucked leg. Mm-hmm. He's so much less likely to come across a corpse. That's how it is.
It must happen more than you think.
Walking dogs or finding corpses?
Walking dogs, but finding
I reckon
a body.
Yes.
Like inner city dwellings.
I reckon, yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It must do. I know we're going a bit off topic here, but I'd imagine that's quite a...
definitely.
It happens quite often.
I reckon, yeah.
Because every day, I'd say.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. How many of them are related to witchcraft? I don't know.
And around railway properties as well, I reckon. So, found by a dog walker. And the dog, actually, this is even fucking worse, right? The dog had run off.
As you would.
And come back with a badly decomposed arm in its mouth.
I'm sure there's been many stories of that. Like, it's been made into, like, comedy spoofs where, like, they throw a bone, it comes back with a fucking leg in its mouth.
Yeah. It's dug up a whole human.
Yeah, it's come back with a fucking head.
Yeah, just, like, dragging it along the floor. But, when they looked in the obviously the dog walker went and told the police, well, my dog found a human arm, is a sentence that someone said.
What do you do with that?
I don't know.
We've got a bit of a, as you've noticed, we've I'd say improved things with the candle situation.
Yeah, we tried to.
We're gonna be better. We've tried.
We will be better. We will.
I think it looks better.
It's been a bad month for Wolves Dog and shit.
Yeah, it's been a difficult month.
So the police went and started searching the area. They found arrows on trees, which did point them.
And when was this again? 1970?
72.
Who the fuck's got a bow and arrow and crossbow rocking around? Where?
No, not fucking arrows. As in that way.
Oh, I see what you mean.
Yeah, carved into the trees.
I thought there was fucking some witch with a fucking bow and arrow.
No. It's like, oh no, it's the Archers. It's Jeffrey Archer. Arrows were on trees, point to body where the area was found. And the area, which is pretty rad, was known as Devil's Teeth.
I mean, if you're gonna be killed and dumped anywhere, you want to be dumped in an area like that.
Called Devil's Teeth.
It's pretty cool, I suppose.
Satan's cock. You want to be Dracula's funny bone. That's where I want to be found. You know what I mean?
Demon's dick.
Bundy's bumhole. Ted Bundy's bumhole is where I want my body to be found.
Hitler's hammock.
Yeah. So the body was found surrounded. Oh, for fuck's sake. We're having a right fucking mare here.
We could be, I mean, this could be, yeah, just lean him against that window. I don't know why we just didn't do that in the way.
Because I'm burning up. So, anyway, come on. The body was found surrounded by handmade crosses, trinkets, all this. Animals hung from trees and surrounded by logs, like a kind of like boxing the body in.
Yeah. Like a ritual burial.
When they did yeah, kind of. It was very, very ritualistic when they found her. That's exactly why they went straight to witches. They were like, yo, these are some witches. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's a fucking it's a pretty broad term to use in 1970, isn't it? Well, it must be witches. I mean, how many fucking known witches were roaming about then? I think like 1,400.
I think it's kind of like people that have, like now, which we'll get into in a bit, trying to bring it back, trying
extremely
to be
superstitious,
edgy boys,
coppers, you know what I mean? Oh, it must be the witches.
Yeah. Well, no, you'd probably think it's people who think they're witches that are doing this. You know what I mean? You wouldn't be like, what's the name? But it was she was when examined, they suspected that strangulation. There was no kind of like cuts or anything. Like the arm coming off was just through decomposition.
Yeah.
She wasn't chopped up or anything.
Rotting.
Sorry. But the book, there was a book about it called Death on Devil's Teeth. It's a pretty sick name for a book. It points to a cover-up, a list of suspects and other crime connections, and it remains unsolved to this day. So that book kind of points out like that it could be a conspiracy.
I'll wait for the Netflix special.
There's bound to be one.
There's always going to be one, isn't there?
If anyone watching this has anything to do with Netflix,
we'll narrate it.
Yeah, dude, that'd be sick. Just me and old Morvo dressed as priests on Netflix going, yo. So
I'm still waiting for the contract.
I would like it to go from that to a whole fucking
12-episode contract. With Netflix.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's there.
That'd be a fucking turn up for the books. Episode part 10. Because obviously we call our episodes parts.
Yeah.
We've got an announcement to make. Netflix has sent the deal. We're off.
We're only
Fuck
10
YouTube.
in.
We're on fucking Netflix.
10 months in. Well, it would be fucking Halloween, wouldn't it? It would be the most wonderful time of the year.
Yeah, big month, that is.
It'll be a big month.
Big month.
So another true crime case involving witches is a witch suspected. Joel Laver and Angela Sanford in 2010 met in a casino. Sanford invited Joel to Beltane, which is a Wiccan celebration of spring.
Yes.
And it's fairly like my mate goes to the Beltane festival around here somewhere, and it's fairly like
light-hearted.
People just get tripped.
People with flowers.
People just trip out the fuck. So it doesn't sound like a bad time, really. So people just get trippy and shit. But that was the Beltane festival was in Albuquerque. So while walking to the festival, Angela claimed that Joel attacked her after being refused sexual advances. So he tried it on. She said no. He attacked her. She said that he tied her up, threatened her with a dagger. She convinced him that she was down to fuck. She convinced him she was DTF.
DTF?
Yeah.
T-shirt time.
Yeah. So he tried it on. She said no. He attacked her. So then she somehow was like, yo, I was joking. I want to fuck. So he just lies down. Right. This is what she's saying happens. So he just lies down. So where Angela got hold of the knife and stabbed Joel in the stomach 3 times.
I'll do it.
That's what she said to witnesses when they saw her running out to them, claiming that someone tried to rape her. He's in there. Please help me. I got hold of the knife. I don't know what happened.
Yeah.
All of this. So the police investigation. So they found Joel, and he'd been stabbed 13 times to the head and stomach. One witness said that he saw Angela Sanford hiding and waiting for them to come so she could run out and claim. So like she was kind of like looking for them to come. Her clothes were neatly folded next to his body. The dagger was a Wiccan sacrificial dagger. So more her kind of thing.
Yeah.
Joel was saved. This is fucked.
He survived?
No. Joel was saved in her phone.
Oh, I thought you meant he was saved.
No, he wasn't saved. He was dead. But in her phone, she'd saved his contact as sacrifice.
You're kind of setting yourself up, but yeah, you got to be fucking stupid.
What a dozy witch! Hey. But she got fucking 20 years for that.
Good, and she fucking should as well.
Yeah, I think she get more than that. Fuck.
Well, yeah, you're right. I mean, you kill someone.
Yeah.
In my opinion, death.
Pretty shit.
Let's not get down the roots of politics and death.
So I have here. I have a case about Michael and Susan's Michael, whose real name is James. People called him Bear. And his wife, Susan Carson, San Francisco. Went on a witch killing spree. Started in 1981 with Karen Barnes, who they suspected to be a witch. She was stabbed 13 times and her head was crushed, hidden in blanket in basement. The Carsons were prime suspects, but fled to a mountain hideout, weed farm. They went and started a weed farm on a mountain, which they were kind of like doomsday preppers up there as well.
Oh, not them fucking
weed
weird.
Farm, doomsday preppers.
Cans of beans everywhere.
They had it right. If you're going to be like prepper, like, we better get some weed. If it's going to be doomsday,
weed and mushrooms,
we're going to need some weed. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to die not high.
Get that psilocybin out. Let's get fucked up.
Let's get fucked up, man. Let's do some like little drops of fucking THC and shit. So then in May of 82, so, you know, like a year later, basically, Clark Stevens was shot, burnt, buried under chicken shit on the farm.
How much chicken shit would you need to find to do that?
They probably had a lot of chickens.
Fucking yeah, you'd need a lot, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, it had been a year later.
I mean, I've seen chickens.
If there was stockpiling chicken shit in which to bury someone under.
Little shovel?
That's
Little tiny shovel.
Oh, to be fair, when I moved in here, the garden was covered in chicken shit, and
anyone buried underneath it?
I've not found them yet. But 2 weeks later, he was reported missing. 2 weeks after he died, he was reported missing, leading police to find remains. The Carsons fled. Police found a manifesto calling for the assassination of Ronald Reagan. In November 1982, police picked up Michael, but in a police error, like a bit of a fucking fumble, freed him in the fucking police car. He left behind a mugshot of himself, an address, and a gun.
They're not very smart,
and they let him go. And he was just like, so there was basically the guy that they killed was a farm worker. He was working on the weed farm. He basically got caught, and then didn't. They fucking let him go. So the third victim in January '83.
So he's a pretty successful killer.
Well, it's his couple. It's a man. It's a man and a wife.
A successful,
successful spree. So 3 was in January of 1983. Was John Charles Helliar. He was 30. John picked up Carson's hitchhiking on his way to Santa Rosa. Susan decided he was a witch after an argument. She like in her head felt that he was a witch. So she started an argument which broke out. The car stopped, and they tumbled out middle of the day. They're fighting on the side of the fucking road. John Helliar and Michael Carson were fighting over a gun, while Susan Carson is on John Helliar's back, stabbing him, basically. So pretty one-sided fight. What
was their reason for going after witches, or their belief in witches?
I'm coming to that. Coming to that at the end. So it was midday. There's a lot of people fucking driving past. Police were called. There was a high-speed chase, but
on brooms.
It wasn't on brooms. That would be sick. One of them had a Hoover, like Hocus Pocus. Yeah. But they were chased in a high-speed chase, and they crashed his car and fucking were arrested.
Fucking useless.
They called themselves the Vegetarian Muslim Warriors, whose mission it was to exterminate individuals they believed to be witches. They also planned to kill Johnny Carson, a American old-timey TV presenter type. Like late night show. He was the host of that show, apparently.
I mean, what characteristics of him did they believe were witch?
I just didn't like him, I suppose. They just decided he was a witch. But they decided that Ronald Reagan needed to die. He's like the least witchiest person you could ever think of.
Big nose, big chin.
You're thinking of proper
big nose, big chin.
Like a Man in the Moon type witch.
No, Ronald Reagan, he had a big nose and a big chin.
Yeah, but he wasn't green.
No, he wasn't green. There was no characteristics of him that would describe as witch.
How many people Do you reckon these two people tried to drop a house on?
176.
Yeah. There was that many. But the convictions, they got 25 years for the murder of Barnes, 50 to life for the murder of Stevens, and 75 to life for...
How does that work in court? Because, I mean, obviously someone like that who's gone through... Well, the pair of them have gone through all that in the belief they're doing something righteous and good. Yeah. So they're in court, and the judge goes, you're going down for this amount of time.
Yeah.
Well, we did it because... They must believe it.
Yeah, like it's got to be.
Bet that was fucking brilliant to see.
But it's not madness though, is it?
Not in their heads.
No,
From
but I mean, they're not seeing void. They were very religious. They're not hearing things. They're not seeing things. They are just literally going, "This motherfucker is a witch. It is my job to kill him." You know what I mean?
It's a bit.
I don't know if they put it like that. But yeah. So there was some true crimey bits for you there, Morv.
Outro.
You also, I think it's outro for the...
I don't know, we got one, I'm just saying.
We got one. Outro, just go, that was true crime. So that was...
Well, as we've gone straight to... Because normally we do the history, then go to yours, but we've flipped it on its head this time. We're coming in new.
We're coming in.
Breaking it in. Should
we took the witch's hat, turned it into an ice cream cone. That's what we did.
Yeah.
That's a treat for you.
So why don't we hit with our top fives?
You want to do top? I reckon we should wait for top five.
Do top fives at the end?
I reckon top fives
towards the end.
Yeah, towards the end. Shall we... History. It's a mystery theme. That was lovely.
Well, before we start this, it should be noted that what I'm going to go into, there's going to be a lot of talk about religion.
Yeah.
And so not to make a joke of anyone out there, because there's a lot of people out there that do.
We are sat here dressed like priests. I just want to
we've also said about priest paedophiles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. We never said that. That never happened.
Yeah. Forget you even fucking heard it.
Aside from that,
we've said it more than once.
There's good and bad people. There's good and bad people everywhere, no matter what you believe.
Yeah.
But I don't want to, I don't want it to come across like I'm gonna be attacking one religion. They're all the same, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, look, we spoke about...
on the first episode, we spoke about...
There's exorcisms in every religion. There's vampires in every religion,
but more so, like, with where the stuff that I'm going to go into, it's more persecution, and, and it's... We've got to be tasteful with it. Again, there's a lot of people out there that believe in...
Do you trust me with that?
No. We can make jokes, because they are bastards.
Oh, okay.
They are bastards.
Yeah.
You'll know the parts where when I get to it, when we discuss certain things.
Don't worry, mate. I am fast on the button when it comes to calling a bastard a bastard.
It's religion, isn't it? Religion's religion at the end of the day. Yeah. People believe in it, more to you. If you find something in it, even better for you. Just don't sit next to me on the plane.
Yep.
Simple as that.
Fair play.
You know what I mean? But anyway, that's let's say that's about slide 7 of 14. So don't worry, we'll get in.
Let's get there.
So, witchcraft. So the common belief of witchcraft is... Witchcraft.
Witchcraft, though? Which one of them? Witchcraft?
Witchcraft, paper? I don't know. Origami, yeah. Paper crafts. So, you, I, and anyone who doesn't know, I mean, I don't know.
Yes.
Would say that witchcraft is to do with people with...
magic powers.
Supernatural abilities.
Yeah. Usually female.
Wrongly accused females for a large part of history, but we'll get to why that is in a bit. But people that have some sort of link to the devil, which is slightly odd because where it came from, or at least where the origins of witchcraft came from, it has little to nothing to do with the devil. Because so let's go from the beginning. Actually, let's not push.
Yeah.
So, witchcraft, as we know it right now, pop culture, films, TV, books, women on broomsticks, luring children to houses, put them in a fucking cauldron, make some soup, yum, yum, yum.
Sarah Jessica
I'm young and beautiful again. Yeah. Okay. So that's the belief that was made 14th century. Going back even further and further and further than that, we're going to let's say 300 years after the death of Christ.
Yeah,
if we're to believe that even happened, right? So paganism.
I think he did die.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
He's not still going.
Well, no, I'm saying
probably didn't.
Did he exist?
Yeah.
My point.
Yeah.
Not that did he die. Look. So paganism. So right now, if someone says I'm a pagan or paganism, you'd think, oh, that's flowers in their hair, burning herbs, flowers.
Being somewhat of a hippie.
Holistic, yeah.
Yeah, being somewhat of a hippie.
Now, paganism back in them days, so we're talking Rome. This is like the height of the Roman Empire, this was. So, like, not long after, like, Jesus was, put on his old
cross.
On his cross,
Yeah. Not his donkey.
On his lazy boy.
Yeah.
Hung there.
Yeah.
Pagan was a term used to describe anyone that didn't follow the faith of Christianity. So when obviously Jesus came about, he was tried for treason.
Yeah.
The Romans obviously arrested him, and then he was crucified.
Did they call him a witch? Is that what you were getting at?
No, they didn't call him a witch. But what is quite ironic about it is at the time of he was put to trial, and then he was done for treason, because the Romans at the time were like the superpower throughout the whole of Europe.
Yeah.
Well, the whole 60% of the world.
Yeah.
Right. So their belief was who's this guy coming along with this new, liberated religion?
Yeah.
Obviously, he was Jewish when he was born, wasn't he? His mum was Jewish, but he was talking about one God, all that sort of stuff. And there was still, certainly within the Roman Empire, there was still a lot of paganistic beliefs. So the term pagan was created by the Roman Empire. It's really weird. So Christ was killed, put on a cross because he brought this new religion into the world, and the Roman Empire was worried that he was going to bring about a holy war.
Yeah.
He was going to bring division, and their empire was going to be shattered. Like, fuck, we've got all this control. We've got this control. And who's this prick coming along?
This little bastard.
So they fucked him off.
Little shit.
The only thing that transpired 300 years later, whoever was whichever Caesar it was at the time that was in control was like, no, I like this. Like, and also the spread, the effect that Jesus had spread, and there was Christians were becoming a big thing. Christianity was massive, and it became the biggest religion. Yeah. So all the other religions that were before that. So what religions came before that? Well, it was all paganism. The word paganism basically back then stood for religions that didn't hold one God. Yeah. There was many. Yeah. So Romans, you had Jupiter, Apollo. They're all the planets essentially, weren't they? So Jupiter was the king, and then he had all the other planets underneath him that controlled underneath him. Yeah. Obviously, Greeks had Zeus and everyone else that fell underneath him. Yeah. And you had Norse with Odin and all the ones that was the term used to describe their religions was pagan. I don't know what they were called at the time before Jesus. I don't know what you call them. Whatever them religions were called. Yeah. So when this guy came in charge, this whoever it was. I think I've got his name actually. While we're guessing, let's find out. This
John.
Caesar John. Caesar John. So pagans believe
Caesar salad. I wish that was his word. So Caesar's palace.
It was in 1313 AD.
Yeah.
The Emperor Constantine issued an Edict of Milan, which accepted Christianity, but still allowed for pagan rituals. So basically, the old beliefs and cultures, so multiple gods, pagan rituals, all this sort of shit. Yeah. It was then that whoever the next guy was, I haven't got his name. I don't think I can even find his name. Whoever the next. Oh no, I did. Look at that. We're going back. Right. So in 392 AD, Emperor Theodosius went, fuck the last guy. Christianity is it.
Is it?
It's it to stay.
It's the big thing.
He was big into it, and he went, right.
I love sandals.
Anyone now that basically is still into paganism, or the term that he coined, because he was the guy that came out with paganism, the term. Anyone who's into these old fandangled religions, you're fucked. I'm going to kill you. Yeah. So all these pagan rituals. So you got, and also as well, what's a really interesting fact is a lot of the religious festivals that we take part in, and not Easter and what we don't take part in, but they are around. They're pagan.
Hallmark.
They're pagan festivals. Yeah. Christmas is a pagan festival. Yeah. Definitely. Easter is a pagan festival. Yeah. They are associated with times with apparently religious moments. So like the resurrection of Christ, the crucifixion, all that sort of stuff. Yeah. But initially they were pagan festivals to celebrate the start of a season or the end of a season or a full moon or whatever. Yeah. So this Emperor Theodosius basically said Christianity is it now. Paganism is over. If you're a part of it, you're fucked. I'm going to execute you, essentially.
You did.
So pagan temples were destroyed. The word paganism,
which is much like the Michael and Susan Carson.
very much
They kind of took it upon themselves because they were Christians
to outlaw anyone else.
Yeah. But by that time, the term witch was very much of a.
Now, there was nothing wrong with these people that didn't believe in Christianity. A lot
Yeah.
of them were just like the term's hunter-gatherer. So, rural people that lived out, outside the city walls, that lived, in the trees and the woods.
Much like the Pendlewitch Witches.
Yeah, and they were just holistic healers. There was no, again, they had no knowledge of the devil because they still believed in the old way. So Zeus and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, who would you associate with the devil in religions like that? It would have been, it's not going to be fucking Hades, is it? Hades wasn't necessarily an evil god. He was just a god of the underworld, whereas the devil is darkness and evil.
I've just been watching Disney's Hercules.
I mean,
that's what I've been thinking all these years. And what's that film that you love?
That's a bit of
Ray Fiennes plays Hades.
Oh, well, I don't like that one. I like the original one, Clash of
Yeah,
Titans.
yeah.
Oh, you're about I don't like the new one.
Yeah,
I like the old one with with Mickey as
Boo Buck.
Yeah. With Mickey from Rocky in it. He's in the original.
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
I can't remember what his name is. Yeah. Anyway, so the term pagan came from this guy, from this emperor. He was the one that came out with the term pagan.
Yeah.
And pagan was a derogatory term essentially for anyone that didn't follow Christianity. You are a pagan and you are going to get fucked.
Yeah.
And that's what he did. He basically just slaughtered anyone that wasn't following the beliefs of Christianity.
Yeah.
So he tore down temples. So that's probably why. I mean, so if you go to like Greece and things,
it was
he destroyed basically all temples of the gods and stuff like that.
Yeah,
fucked them all off and basically massacred
you
anyone.
reckon you put it like that? Fuck them off. Fuck them off there. You see that temple there? Yeah. What about it? Fuck it off. I want it fucked off.
Well, yeah, that's what he would have done. He would just fucked them all. I mean, there was no actual term of witchcraft back then as well. It was just pagans.
Yeah.
But as I say, a lot of these people were they were probably doctors, or as close as what you could associate to being
the modern day
doctor
GP.
back then. They healed people. People had, I've got a cold. Drink this and drink the tea.
Yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah,
and
like a medicine.
They killed them.
Healer.
They killed them.
Let's go on. Next slide.
That was paganism. I'll go to this one at the end. That's Wiccan. So as we moved in later throughout history, this is when you had the Catholic Church. So obviously Christianity became a huge thing from that. Catholicism, and then Catholicism became the biggest thing in Europe. Obviously Christianity and Catholicism are the same thing. It's just a different section. But they're the same. Catholicism
a branch.
So in 1486, and actually before we start, then this is
like JD Sports and Sports Direct, isn't it?
Yeah, Game and Game Station.
Yeah,
they're the same.
It's like
but different.
Oh no, it isn't. Carry on. It's like Costa and Starbucks.
Coffee, but different place.
Yeah. It's coffee.
So, in 1486, so this is the Catholic Church at this point is big and it's strong. Certainly in Europe, on the continent, it is massive.
Yeah.
Okay. So in 1486, the creation of the Malius Maleficara was made.
Yeah.
Which was a book that was written by two inquisitors who were basically were essentially, think of, now again I've got to be really careful,
like a Witchfinder General type.
Essentially, inquisitors were sent out to find those that they deemed to be unholy or not following scriptures, and they would fuck you up. These were bad people. They weren't good people. They were no more associated.
They weren't as funny as Monty Python would be.
No, they were vile bastards,
they
man.
Were cheeky fuckers.
They were fuckers, man. So, I mean, essentially, and this is where
anyone with any kind of inquisition, to be fair, if someone wants to know a lot of stuff, I'll fucking at him. Well, if someone was to walk up to me with a clipboard asking me some questions.
When Hitler was his highest point of power, and obviously when he had controlled France, and obviously he sent out all his boys to find out where they were hiding the Jews.
Where the Jewish people were.
He took inspiration from inquisitors. So he took inspiration from the Catholic Church. Not that I don't know.
Of pagans.
I'm not sure if essentially, He wanted a one doctrine. You follow this. So he'd had His SS went out.
Dictatorship.
Where are you hiding them?
Yeah,
they were
but a holy dictatorship.
Essentially, they were inquisitors, and that's where he took his inspiration from when he created that force of people that went out to find these people, experts at finding Jewish people, and killing them and putting them in camps and where nasty fuckers, essentially.
Bastards.
Again, this is the part we have to tread carefully because I mean, it's fucking horrible, man. I mean, everyone has their views and like and like women's rights and things, and anyone that doesn't believe that anyone should have the right to do whatever the fuck they want is a fucking idiot. You know, it's equal footing for everyone as far as I'm concerned. Of course. If you want to do something, you fucking do it. You know, I'm not going to stop you. If there's
in the modern day, if you want to be a witch, you just go on TikTok.
I would love someone to fucking argue with me on this point because I don't think I mean, when I was reading through this and I was reading about this book in particular, I don't think there's anything that set back women more than this.
Yeah,
you can argue that well, they weren't allowed to vote. Yeah, go read what these fuckers did to women back then. Yeah, fucking vile. They like women. If you was a woman, you was living, Spain, Italy, France, and you did anything that these people believed to be unholy, you were fucked. Yeah, and you were going to get fucked for it. Simple as. And the accusation was, and that's where the term comes from, witchcraft. Yeah, you're a witch. So essentially, this book was created by 2 inquisitors. And it instructed other inquisitors how to find, capture, torture, and kill. Yeah. There was no other outcome. You were going to kill them. Yeah. You basically got them. You tortured them. You got your confession. Yeah. If there ever was one, and there never fucking was one, because these people never did anything. Yeah. And you fucked them. You got them killed in the most vile fucking ways possible. And this was the church. Now, essentially, what this was basically a lot of these women that were killed, and I've got the numbers and I'll go through them in a minute. These women weren't witches or anything far from it. This book basically said that
they believed in something else.
Not even that. Not even that to a certain extent. So there was a lot of them that also were pagans, that term pagan, that didn't follow Christianity, and they were women that healed other people. I say healed, they gave people remedies. So small villages may have like a Wiccan woman living in it. Yeah. And she'd provide the villagers, say like, so one of the stories I read, there was no names, obviously it's fucking years, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years ago, but there'd be like a local healer in the village. And it wasn't just women as well. It should be like this was men as well, the attack, but it was women primarily. Yeah. It would be 99% women, 1% men that were killed. It was always women. Yeah, yeah. And the reason for that is they said that women were easily persuaded to join darkness than men. Because of sexuality, they were just easier, essentially, to
basically
to
that old 1950s kind of like women know your place. It's not in the workplace,
essentially. And as I say, man, nothing. Everyone knows that throughout history, women have been considered second, which is complete. It's bollocks. They're not. Bollocks, yes, if anything set the tone for that throughout history, it's fucking this. Yeah. Because at least when the guy in the Emperor Theodos or whatever his name was, he killed, I mean, you shouldn't kill anyone, but he killed everyone that was a pagan in his eyes. It wasn't just women, it was women, men and children, everyone. If you were a part of a ritual, if you was part of a festival, or if you still believed in them ways, you were getting fucked. Whereas these bastards at the Catholic Church were like, nah, women. Yeah. You're going after women. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of theories behind it, and the one that I hit on the most was the biggest group of people they attacked wasn't just women that were like holistic healers. Like I said, there'd be like a town, a small village of people. Yeah. Here's one example I use. And there was this family went and visited. They were a farm. They're basically farm handlers. And they went and visited this woman because their cows weren't producing milk. Yeah. So they went and saw this woman. And this is when this book was out there in the open.
The Malius.
Malius Maleficarum. This is when the Inquisitors are out there.
Do you know what that means?
Witch's hammer.
It means witch's hammer?
Yeah, that's what it means, yeah. Or the witch's hammer. Yeah. Got it there. Also known as the witch's hammer.
Fucking smart.
On the ball, mate.
Yeah. Well, it's... So
these people went and visited this woman. Yeah. My cow's not producing any milk. I need... we need the milk. I've got to sell it. I need to make money. Oh, well, what you need to do, take these herbs and flowers, put it into the water. Yeah. And let them drink the water and it should produce milk. Some of the fuckers in the village, knowing that this book was out there, knowing that if you was able...
Dobbed her in?
Yeah, because you'd be given shit for it.
You'd be
rewarded.
Bribed.
Yeah, bribed,
It's a
whatever.
bribe.
You'd get something for it.
Yeah.
They dobbed her in, and she was fucking burnt at the stake for just simply. She wasn't
trying to help people.
She wasn't a devil worshipper or anything like that. Devil worship or anything really never really existed at this point. Even though the book itself aimed at people they believed to be people that were devil worshipping.
Yeah.
They fucking weren't. None of them were. None of them were. But then the other group of people they attacked, also women, which is fucking disgusting, and it just goes to show you how fucked, and it still is, really. I mean, when you look at like the Catholic Church, they also attacked women that spoke the word of God. Yeah. So essentially, in the eyes of the Catholic Church, God is found through man. Yeah. Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah.
So the idea of a woman doing the same job as a man, they hated it.
They didn't like it.
They fucking hated it. More so than if you were like that other woman that was a pagan and did all that sort of stuff. They had no religious link. She was just someone that didn't follow it, so they fucked her up. Women that basically were in villages. I don't know if they were not vicars. I don't even know if that would even work back then. But they were women that believed in God. That were really incredibly. They celebrated it. Yeah. And the church hated it. Yeah. It's a job of a man. God is found through man.
A priest.
You can't do it.
Well, like women, that goes on for quite some time because women priests weren't around till
not long ago.
I want to say,
and if you look at the head,
80s, man. Yeah, and I can think of like you really see
in all religions, not just Catholicism, loads of it, man. And you look at like the Catholic Church, the pinnacle of it is the Pope. You're never going to see a female Pope. Bishops, cardinals, they're all male.
Me and you will never live to see.
No, I mean I'd like to see it fall more than anything. It's the biggest. One of the things.
No, of course.
I mean, if anyone's ever watched like
dressed like this.
The Da Vinci Code. I mean, we're going off a bit tangent here, but a lot of that is...
The candle just rolled off the fucking table. It's fine. Right. We're not on fire.
If anyone's ever watched like the Da Vinci Code, I mean, we're going a bit off topic now, but a lot of it's mentioned in that. There's one section in it, in the middle of the film, where they talk about this book, and it's the most brutal and bloody book, and it's and again, it's probably, in my opinion, it's the most damaging thing that's ever happened to womankind. Yeah. It is. There's no... So this book was out there for not long... 300 years, which in the space of time isn't a long time. No. 40,000 women were killed. Now, it doesn't sound like a lot, does it, when you think of over 300? But the way they were fucked and the way they were taken is a fucking lot, man.
You think of the population of the world now, back then, that's an even more...
It was used, so when it first came out in...
Bigger number of the
1486, it was created and published. It was still used well into the 18th century, so like the Salem Witch Trials. They used that book. Yeah. Okay. So 40,000 women, and they were mostly women. Midwives were another one that were attacked. Midwives, because they existed then. They were taken and killed. Mm. Why? Yeah. Because they just didn't like the fact that...
Because of religious madness?
Well, and also because they didn't like the fact that there was a woman being involved in that type of procedure. And it's like, that's fucking madness. Like, what do you mean? And look what, and like, that's what you get. I mean, I'm sure there are men out there that are midwives. Yeah. Why not? Fuck it, if you want to do that. Great. Yeah. More to you.
Do you know what's strange?
Imagine that now.
Do you know what I think is strange? Right, midwife, and I'm not being like, there's pink jobs, blue jobs. If you want to be a female fucking welder, crack on. If you want to be a male hairdresser, fucking
them things only exist because people put them there. Like
obviously it is like a sexual construct. Jobs.
It's man-made.
Do you think it's weird that? I don't think it's weird that mainly females or mostly females are midwives.
No, I don't.
Do you think it? I think there's. The balance of male to female gynecologists is a bit weird.
Yeah, because there's probably more men, isn't it? I should imagine.
How fucking weird's that?
So basically, you've got one that concentrates on the act to produce, and areas prior to that,
delivering of a baby.
Yeah, and then one focuses on the other end of the scale. It's a bit. Gosh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe. I mean, would they have been killed back then? Probably fucking not.
The geezers who were gynecologists. I doubt there was gynecologists back then, but
the Catholic Church back then was literally, if you could ever use the word misogynistic to describe anything, they were that and more. They were just fucking brutal bastards. Essentially, if you was a woman and you practiced anything that you believed in, whether it be helpful or not, or if you followed the same scriptures as any male that was part of the Catholic Church, you were fucking found and you were killed. In any way they could do it, they were going to get you and they were going to fucking kill you because they didn't like the idea that any woman had power. That was essentially it. You can't do this. You were getting fucked for it. And so 40,000 women were tortured, executed for practicing witchcraft. Yeah. They weren't. This is what the book coined it as. Across Europe in about 3 centuries. Not only did this include women that preached the word of God, but also women who were seen as healers, so like pagan healers. People that weren't Catholics, Christians, or whatever. They were just people living out there, and they found, fucking hell, I found this plant stops a cold. Yeah, like that sort of thing. You were going to get it. And can you imagine that back then if you were just helping people? You'd have to just stop and go into hiding. God forbid someone reported you. Because there was probably a lot of poverty across Europe.
There's probably a lot of women growing weed, and then like they went, no, growing weed is a man's job.
Yeah, so been practicing medicine using plants and herbs, because you can remember as well, with the Catholic Church, the Catholic Church back then was essentially an empire. Yeah. They were what the Roman Empire was. They controlled everything. They controlled politics. It wasn't until, like, say, I mean, again, we're going off topic now. Like, I love history, so we're going to. But, like, you got to give a lot of thanks to Henry VIII. Because if it weren't for him being an absolute fucking sex bot, we'd still be under control of the church. Church would still be under... If it weren't for him going... If it weren't for him going...
Because it's the Church of England. He created the Church of England so he could divorce his missus.
It's horrible as what he did to as many people as he did. If it weren't for him sending in his troops to go, I want you to go into these churches and fuck them all up, man, because I'm not listening to these fuckers anymore. I want them dead.
Because she is doing my head in.
Because I'm the fucking king.
And like,
if it weren't for him doing that, and again being a misogynistic little prick or fat prick, but if it wasn't for him doing what he did to religion, then we would be the world would be in a far different place. We would still be living it, not under, maybe not this to this level,
definitely in England.
Yeah, fucking right. Women would still be second class citizens. And I know it's a really fucking odd thing to say, but if it weren't for him doing that, there would have been a lot of differences. So 40,000 victims, mostly women, midwives, pagan healers, women that preach the word of God.
Go on, I'm listening.
And then from that, it say 300 years. So it went all into the 18th century, well into the 18th century. Oh, pardon me. So this was used by the Inquisition, which was basically a powerful office set up within the Catholic Church to root out and punish heresy throughout Europe and the Americas. Obviously, the Americas Salem Witch Trials and stuff like that, because it went over to them as well. Woo. There you go. This is
a quote from the Malus Maleficarum. Did I say that? Malius Maleficarum?
Maleficara. So this is a quote from it. All witches convicted by the magistrate, so basically in each area of each town or province, whatever, there would be the highest bishop or whatever. The inquisitor would bring them along and there'd be that person, you're fucked. So all witches convicted by the magistrate should be executed. There was never...
This is a quote. Read it completely.
So all witches convicted by the magistrate should be executed. He allows no exceptions, and under the condemnation fall all diviners, charmers, jugglers, all wizards, commonly called wise men or wise women, all those purported good witches, so these pagans, which do not hurt but good, which do not spoil and destroy, but save and deliver, should come under the same extreme sentences. Anyone that basically wasn't following Catholic rule, you were fucked. There was no escape. So that, fuck me, that's mental. That is mental.
That's a lot of fuckers, man.
It literally says all purported good witches. Using the term witches, because I bet the people that did all that stuff didn't call themselves witches. So all purported good witches, which do not hurt but good, which do not spoil and destroy, but save and deliver. So doctors, essentially, or healers, whatever you want to call them, should come under the same extreme sentences.
Fair play.
That's fucked.
That's fucked. That
That's
is
really fucked, man.
That is fucked.
Like so essentially that book there, it's not like law where you know you've done something wrong, you go to trial, you've got a time to prove your innocence, or you know you will be found guilty. So you know it's innocent till proven guilty. It's like, you are just guilty anyway.
I'm a doctor. Nah, but you're a female doctor. Yeah, I know that. But I'm don't matter. Dead.
You're fucked. Yeah.
Yeah.
And these and like so they were hung. They were burnt. The burnt at the stake was the
it was popular.
There's one day
not popular.
One day in particular
done a lot.
Friday the 13th.
Yeah.
I'm not sure when it was, but that's where the term come from. Friday the 13th. So within that 300 years, there was a Friday the 13th where thousands were just killed in one day. On these hills all over Europe. They just got all these women, tied them up, and fucking set them on fire. And just left them. And that's Friday the 13th.
That's insane.
Mental, absolutely mental. So there we go. I've already gone to the next slide before we've even done it. So ways of execution, I say hanging, burn at the stake, strangulation at the stake, and then burn. I mean, that's just.
I've read about that. They'd like literally fucking tie them by their necks to a stake and then set on fire when they've gone. What's that? Stoned
and beheading
and stoned.
A lot of these as well were relative to the area. I
wouldn't mind if someone got me stoned.
I don't think it was that type of stone.
No, man, I was just being a big silly twat.
A lot of these are relevant to areas, so geographical locations, depending on where it was. That was the flavour of that country or that area. Like, you know, so like round here, hanging, let's say, and then you know,
where they've got lots of trees, Europe, hanging, lots of rivers,
crazy,
drowning,
crazy, man.
Let's move upon to the Salem Witch Trials.
We're going even further now.
I'm reading these things.
So Salem Witch Trials. So, I mean, essentially the Salem Witch Trials was bullshit.
Yeah.
They never found one witch.
Yeah.
All the films and TV programs that have come that are based upon it, it's all just fan fiction.
Yeah.
It's all these people. There were nothing. A lot of it, which will, in fact, you're going to like this when I get to a bit. It says, tie it back to episode 1. So, the Salem Witch Trials were a series of hearings and prosecutions of people accused of witchcraft in colonial Massachusetts.
Salem?
Salem, yeah. That'll be the place.
Salem, Massachusetts. I'd love to go.
Not as long as you think as well. When I first thought, I thought this was over years. It was not. It was 1692 to 1693. Not that long.
That's a year.
Not a long time at all.
No.
Not a long time at all.
No.
More than 200 people were accused. 30 were found guilty. 19 whom were executed by hanging. 14 were women, 5 were men. So again, still a massive difference between men and women.
Women too, man.
One man, Giles Corey, was pressed to death.
Pressed?
Which is fucking grim, mate.
How do you press a person?
So they get a flat... Or just the flat, just lie you on the ground. But what would be in the centre of the ground would be a stone like that.
Yeah.
And you would lie, so that was in the middle of your spine.
Yeah.
And then they would put something flat across you, like let's say a large plank of wood.
Yeah.
Wide and like a door size. And then they would slowly pile rocks onto it.
Mm. And
then eventually you'd snap because you're on top of that point. So your spine would snap.
Fucking hell.
What a way to go. That would fucking hurt.
That would have... I think probably all of them would, to be fair.
So there's I say a good example. There's no good example of execution. But there was a program a couple of years ago where it was Guy Fawkes.
Yeah.
I want to say his mother.
Yeah.
Was killed like that.
Say it then.
Guy Fawkes' mother was killed like that.
You can say it if you want.
She was laying.
Is it the what is it the
There's a good program about
Spanish mule or something where they put you on a blade.
Oh, I don't know.
Like between your fucking...
There was a lot of fucked up people back then,
and then they put weights on your legs and it eventually splits you in two.
Sounds awful.
It's a similar thing.
It sounds awful. If anything,
we should do one on torture.
Execution.
There's a lot of shit.
There's you look back in them times. There must have been a lot of fucked up people to come up with these really extreme ways of killing people. Iron Maidens.
I think there's always
always
someone.
The worst one though. I think
there's always like someone.
I would happily have someone chop my head off over any of them.
There's easily always a sadist just knocking around. That if everything went to shit and there was like a religious fucking war or a fucking, or like a dictatorship overruling everything, much like the death camps in World War, the Jewish death camps, where there was people like Joseph Mendler, who was a very, very creative person when it comes to the disposing of Jewish people. And he was like, there's always a sadist around.
I'm not sure you call it a talent. You know what I mean?
Did I say talent?
No, I'm just saying, I'm not sure you could call it a talent.
I was going to say,
no, you didn't
call it a fucking talent.
I'm not sure you could. I'm sure they did.
Yeah, the people on the side, the people on the side of wrong probably fucking did. But I feel like there's always like, whether it's like, religious fucking mass murdering or a world war, there seems to be ways that there's always a job for some kind of sadistic dickhead that thinks of all these weird, horrible ways to kill people.
And it's people that want to reduce one sect of people to the ground so they control power. So obviously with the Catholic Church, but again, I have to be very careful. One would assume the Catholic Church isn't like this anymore. I would assume it's not. Yeah, I think we would know about it
Fingers
now.
crossed.
But religion is archaic. Yeah. End of. There's no discussions about that. If you took everything back to zero, we would have religion would exist, but it wouldn't be the religion we have now. It would be some new form of whatever it is.
Yeah.
Religion is just something. I wouldn't say it's a fairy tale.
I
but
think it started as stories to explain things that people didn't know.
It's a belief in something that you can't explain.
Why does the sun do that every day? It's because of a god.
When you look at like the term pagan, and let's remove the word pagan, but people that had beliefs before Christianity, Judaism, Catholicism, all this sort of stuff. Before all of that, when people believed, in the sun and the moon, and there was multiple deities, and there was a god for there was a god for wine, there was a god for sex, there was a god for happiness and sadness.
Yeah.
I look at them, and I've been reading quite a lot of stuff into Norse mythology at the moment, because I'm big into Greek mythology anyway. But they're all essentially the same. And what I learnt with all these different religions, these ancient religions, Greek mythology, Roman mythology, and Norse mythology, they all these names. So like Odin, Jupiter, and Zeus. They were all the king of the gods, but they all represented something.
Yeah.
And then it was the people that believed them that created stories for these people.
Yes, of course.
And they were all full of positivity, but then they also created stories that showed them to be very, very human as well. And that's so fucking attractive as for religion.
That's why
it's just like
people think that man was created in the eyes of a god, their god.
It was perfect.
The god, because people actually did the opposite.
You can't live up to perfection. So that's why I don't choose to believe in. I mean, I am Christian.
Yeah,
but I'm not.
Kind of.
I don't believe in it.
You've been christened.
Yeah, I've been christened.
I
can't see the idea of believing in something that embodies perfectionism, because there's no such thing as perfectionism. You can't. So to say that God is perfect or Jesus Christ, it's not possible.
Guinness.
Okay, Guinness. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I don't drink.
Well, I know we're dressed as priests, but let's get off the religion again. Let's go back to witches.
We're going full on into it anyway. But
go back to witches.
I'll read that quote again. So more than 200 people were accused. 30 were found guilty, 19 of whom were executed by hanging, 14 were women and 5 were men. One other man, Giles Corey, was pressed to death for refusing to plead guilty.
Yeah.
So they fucked him.
Yeah.
And at least 5 people died in jail. Now, compared to the Spanish Inquisition, the Roman Inquisition, all them fuckers, them vile bastards, these fuckers were tame in comparison to it, man.
This was like the diet version.
But again, I think I think a lot of the reasons why you see a lot of films focusing on Salem as opposed to going back old school, just because look like the Da Vinci Code and how much of an uproar that caused.
Yeah,
I just don't think people want to do it. Just don't want to go there. Yeah. So I'm going to fucking do it for the world. You bastards! This kicks off a fuss as big as the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah,
it won't.
So
obviously you had inquisitors back then.
Yep.
The word used for the people that went out and found witches in this time were called Puritans. So the old pointy hat jobs.
Yeah.
Good example of one, Gangs of New York. The outfit that the priest wears. He's priest.
Yeah.
He's dressed like a Puritan.
Okay.
And that cross
Yeah.
He carried it around. That's what they used, man. That's what that was the outfit of a Puritan. Apart from that, he was missing his pointy hat.
Big pointy hat.
While witch trials had begun to fade out across much of Europe by the mid 17th century, they continued on the fringes of Europe and in the American colonies. The events in 1962.
You dick.
Fucking
1692
and 1693 in Salem became a brief outburst. And this is where I linked it back to our first podcast. So a lot of like the Catholic, because it's all Catholicism, it's all part of that.
Yeah,
they used hysteria to drum up this.
Yeah,
they like, so back in like the Inquisitors' times and in this, they got people to believe in it. Yeah. So this book wasn't just that
scared people.
That Malius Maleficarum wasn't just available for Inquisitors. You could buy it. Yeah. Anyone could buy it, and because of that, like, so back then, if I was someone, I would have picked something and goes, oh fucking hell. Well, this huge superpower that we all believe in is telling me that if you're like that, you must be a witch. Well, she's like that down the road, or he's like that. So they reported it. Hysteria is what fueled the fire for so long throughout Europe. Was this one book just blew everything up. Yeah, it's a bit like Beatles mania, but for witches. Yeah, it just spread essentially. So it was an outburst of hysteria in the New World, while the practice was already waning in most of Europe. An overwhelming majority of people accused and convicted of witchcraft were women, about 78% during Salem. And it was the belief of Puritans that women were sinful and easily swayed by the devil. So it's pretty similar to what Inquisitors used to think. It was more so women because they were so. It's a
lot of the same. They're all bastards.
Basically, thought they were dim and they were just there. They saw any sort of like anything that was sinful and they would jump on it straight away. Yeah. So Salem witch trials. I've got like the initial events. So in Salem village in 1692, this was like the first, I suppose, big accusation.
Yeah.
Betty Paris, aged 9, and her cousin Abigail Williams, the daughter and the niece of a reverend.
Yeah.
So, someone in the church.
Close to home.
Samuel Paris. They began to have fits. These two girls did. And described as beyond the power of epileptic fits or natural diseases to affect. So that was a quote that we used to describe them. So essentially what they were going through was ungodly.
Yeah.
It couldn't be described by, it wasn't, there was nothing to do, nothing illness-wise that could be related to these. It must be the devil.
Yeah.
The girls screamed, threw things around their room, uttered strange sounds, crawled under furniture. I mean, a lot of this just sounds like children, being children.
Yeah.
And contorted themselves into peculiar positions. According to an eyewitness account of Reverend Deodat Lawson, a former minister in Salem village, so he said that the girls were doing all these things.
Yeah.
And again, so I referenced that back to the first podcast. It's just hysteria.
Yeah.
People just see something they don't quite understand and assume devil. The girls complained of being pinched and pricked with pins. A doctor could find no physical evidence of any sort of ailments. Other young women in the village began to exhibit similar behaviours. So again, it's hysteria. One girl's got it, another girl's got it. They've all fucking got it. You know what I mean? I suppose it's a bit like anything, isn't it? A bit like people when COVID first struck. Yeah. Anyone who had a cough, you would assume, fucking, I bet he's got COVID, go away, sort of thing.
Burn him.
Yeah, burn them.
Burn them to the fucking ground. To be fair, it was more like anyone panic buying toilet roll. Burn them. Burn them.
I mean, what made it worse as well?
Burn, burn them to death, but before that, just fuck them off by walking up behind them and just like holding a hot lighter to the back of their arm in a t-shirt. Don't set them on fire quite yet. Let's I'm sounding like an inquisitor here when it comes to people that stockpiled toilet roll at the first inkling
man. Hard fuckers. And pasta. I mean, what sort of apocalypse are you going to live out with 100 toilet rolls and a load of fucking...
if you only eat pasta, macaroni, you're going to need a lot of toilet rolls.
I was going to say, well, it's going to be bound up, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true.
It's going to come out like a fucking lead pipe, I should imagine.
So you won't need a lot then, would you?
Well, I mean, you don't need... break it off, wouldn't you?
One wipe. It's just if you did kind of like bite it off with your arsehole.
Come out this colour, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
crazy.
could probably fire an arrow into it and it'd just stay still.
But you got to think as well. You look at I haven't got it on here, but things like when the plague hit,
Yeah.
there was a massive accusation. There was a massive spike in healers then
Yeah.
that were killed because they were, you've caused this, witchcraft, and they just got massacred because of basically a disease created by just no hygiene.
Yeah.
Essentially, that's what where the Black Plague came from, or Black Death, what it was called, came from lack of hygiene. Toilets,
unhygienic.
yeah,
People shit in the streets.
you know what I mean. God bless the French for inventing the sewer systems. You know what I mean? Yeah.
God bless them.
God
Thanks.
bless them. Cheers. So
The wolf thing, which Massacre, salute you French people for creating shit pipes.
yeah, well done. Well
Thanks.
done.
Cheers.
God bless.
Cheers, lads. Having a great shit.
Before that, we were just throwing it in the street.
Let's go on with the podcast.
So as I said, so these girls complained of being pinched and pricked with pins. A doctor could find no physical evidence of any ailment, and there was also other women and young girls throughout the village that were also complaining of the same things, which a lot of it would be, I would imagine, was associated with just, I've got that as well, fucking hell. Now, I don't know. I mean, I've never been to Salem, but by the way this describes
I'd love to go.
I bet it. My brother don't live far from there,
God City's there. The recording studio owned by Kurt Ballou of Converge. Such masterpieces.
He did Every Time I Die, didn't he? I like him.
From Parts Unknown.
Yeah, brilliant album.
And he did he did Cabell Attack as well. He did a Cabell Attack record, which is, I love a bit of Cabell Attack.
He did 2 records for Every Time I Die, didn't he?
Did he? I think he only did the one. I'm pretty sure.
He did,
He's worked with a lot of people.
Did he do X Lives as well?
No, he didn't. X Lives was, I can't remember his name, but he's worked with Melvins.
There you go, your favourite band. Or one of.
You're one of my favourite bands, yeah. I think it was X Lives anyway. Probably weren't.
I mean, Every Time I Die, R.I.P.
R.I.P.
What a shame.
R.I.P.
Whose side are you on? The band or his? Who knows?
What do you think? Well, yeah, let's break away slightly from.
There's no disputing that he has got some serious mental health issues.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can't see his brother not wanting to help his brother.
Yeah.
Them two they loved each other.
Yeah.
I've watched a lot of things with them two. Them two are inseparable.
I mean, Cain and Abel, the Bee Gees, Oasis,
Robson and Jerome.
Super Mario Brothers. Why can't brothers just get on?
But it's not. It wasn't just. I mean, I can't forget the bloody names now. It's Keith, isn't it?
It's Keith and Jordan.
Jordan. But his attack is at the whole band, not just his brother. Although he said his brother was the main. One of the things he reported is he heard his brother discussing a new singer. I don't believe that somehow.
Don't think that's like. I mean, that's like people going. How about Motorhead without Lemmy?
Yeah, but also, I mean,
it's not to that amount.
I think as well that band has changed drummer and bass player how many times? The crux of that band has been Andy, Jordan and Keith, and I don't think either of them three would. I don't think the band would look right if one of them three disappeared from that band. Yeah. So but I do think that. I mean, I know we've got friends out there that are big Every Time I Die fans. I only really became a fan of them.
I'd say I love them. I'm a fairly big fan.
I became more into them after X Lives came out because I love that album.
Yeah.
I love all the albums since that point.
Yeah.
From Parts Unknown is great. But he's definitely got some issues.
Yeah, definitely.
He's got. I mean, I watched some clips of him. You know, he did that. The
talking.
Yeah. And he's got some serious.
Yeah. I did watch a whole show of that, and it was eye opening. Some of it.
You can tell that he's got some.
He definitely has a narrative that he wants to follow.
Yeah,
and if that's the truth, that's the truth.
But I don't think that. I don't think that narrative is because. I think that narrative is more reinforced by the fact that he's struggling.
Yeah.
And he's not allowing someone to help him.
Yeah.
Because I personally think they wanted to stop touring so he could have a break. They didn't want to stop touring.
Probably.
You know. And what's wrong with that? You know.
Nothing wrong with that.
I've seen him 3 times now, I think. I went with our friend Joe Lane. I went with twice with him.
Yeah.
And then I don't know where I went with. I can't remember. They're brilliant. They're fucking brilliant, man.
Anyway, back to Witches.
I've got a picture with Keith somewhere. Anyway,
I've got it. Yeah, I was still when they. I remember spoke on the goat sections. I've got a picture with Andy.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And he's a fucking boss, man. He's a bit fucking bad man. Anyway, witches.
I was going to jump off then. I was going to say, like, I made myself look a right dick when I met Keith, because I went up to him and said, I imagine you to be taller, because he's only short. And he went,
wasn't it Jordan?
No, I met Keith.
Was it Keith?
Yeah.
I imagine you'd be taller, and he just went, okay.
He just went, all right, mate. He didn't look remotely
pleased. You went, all right, you're short.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah, it was definitely him, because he had a big beard at the time when I had a picture of him.
Yeah.
He had a massive beard.
Yeah.
So, back to
witches. There's a little break. That was like an interlude. Let's go back.
So, my point was originally about Salem. I can't imagine it's a very big place. Probably now it's a bigger place than what it was, but back then I imagine it was quite a small village.
I think right now, I think now it's like.
I'll ask my brother, because isn't it far, from it?
Have you ever seen Paranorman?
Paranorman, no.
It is a family film set in a town very much like Salem, Massachusetts, and like basically it's where witches were tried and stuff like that. That's the town of where it is. But like it seems like there's a lot of witch head pencil toppers mugs with "I saw a witch at Salem." You know what I mean? I think it's kind of like the witches at Salem or the Salem witch trials. I've seen that it's kind of like a touristy thing now.
Well, the whole look of witches, like the whole. I mean, when someone, I'm sure people out there, if you ask anyone out there,
crooked old hag type.
That comes from Salem.
Yeah,
it's a bit like Father Christmas being red and white. It was coined by Coca-Cola because he was green before.
He was green.
Yeah. So the whole idea.
When did witches? That's a stupid question. I was going to say, when did witches become green? It's probably Wizard of Oz, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean the outfits, pointy hats, broomsticks. It come from this.
Yeah.
Because there was a report of a young girl saying that whoever she accuses being a witch, or group of people she accused of being a witch, she said that these people used to ride around on broomsticks outside the house at night, and that's where that came from. Yeah, it came from Salem. The traditional witch that we know of, pointy hat,
the Halloween witch,
wart on the nose, is.
Can you do that again, please? I love that. It's good.
Want to record it? When you're singing?
It's good. You can do it the same every time. How did you do that?
It's not actually me. I'm pressing the button.
Yeah.
At the end of, when Joker dies at the end of Batman.
Yeah.
He's just laughing. He's got the voice box on him.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So, I can't imagine the town was very big at this time.
Yeah.
I imagine it was quite a small village.
Yeah, geographically.
Yes, because it had a meeting house. And back then, town folk used to go to a meeting house to talk.
Like a town hall.
A bit like in the great programme about vampires. They go to the town hall to, not only to go for religious meets, but also just to meet and talk with fellow.
Yeah. I watched that last night. What We Do in the Shadows.
Yeah.
I watched the film.
And also in the film with the vampires. I can't remember the program with the vampires. I can't remember what it's called again now. The great one that come out before Christmas. The TV program on Netflix. They go to the town hall, don't they? There's a town
mass.
Yeah, there's a town hall they all congregate at.
Yeah.
So the doctor that looked at these girls and could find no medical ailment with them.
Yeah.
Announced all this at this meeting house, and he was constantly interrupted several times by outbursts of the afflicted in the front row of the townspeople. So all these girls that were apparently
at the front.
A bit weird, isn't it? Everyone goes to the doctor with a cough, and he says, "Well, what you for? You've got a cough. Sunday's meet. You've all got to come so I can show you to the rest of the town people so they can look out for it." It's a bit fucking. You go to a doctor's now. It's private and confidential behind a fucking locked door. Now, back then they were like, "No, in front of everyone. We need to look at this."
It's a bit like you're on the opposite side of a wall so they can check witchcraft, but it's also turned into a bit of a blind date situation where there's people staring at you going, "It's contestant number 2 who's got whooping cough." Contestant number 3 smokes a bit too much.
I bet prostate exams were a bit fucking liberal back then, weren't they? All getting to the front with everyone watching.
Yeah, yeah.
You watch
this.
You watch that finger, you dirty bastard.
He's pointing out across the thing and everyone's like that. Someone's going to flick some shit at
you. Oh shit! Fucking sweet corn flying across the room.
There's just a geezer spinning to an open window. Who's been flung by a strong finger up an arse.
So, the first 3 people accused with these 2 girls and arrested, allegedly for afflicting Betty Paris and Abigail Williams.
Yes,
was a 12-year-old. It's fucking ridiculous, isn't it? Named Anne Putnam, Putnam. So Anne Putnam, who was 12. Sarah Good, who wasn't, because I didn't put their ages down. I think it was quite.
She may have
important
been,
that she was
12.
The rest
She
of them
was
were
obviously the youngest.
Yeah. Sarah Good, Sarah Osborne, and I'm assuming if anyone's ever looked into it, Tibtia. It depends how you want to pronounce it. Tibtuba. So she was a slave.
Yeah. Okay. Let's just go with slave then.
Now, if you look at like the Salem Witch Trials, she's like the most famous one.
Yeah.
Because she was also one of the only, which is quite surprising.
Who's this? Tiptuba. This is gonna.
So
T-tuber.
There's two. I mean, we'll get to the one in a minute. There's two quite important women that were accused. She was one of them. The other one was Mary Este.
Yeah.
So Mary Este was one that was mentioned in The Conjuring. Bathsheba, that was the witch in that, was linked to Mary Este.
Yeah.
Although I could find no records of Bathsheba, so I tried to find.
That'll be some kind of.
I think that was created, and I think actually it was Mary Este. I think they just created a witch for that haunting in that house. I don't necessarily think it was a witch.
We all know, any fans of horror and stuff like this, we all know that Conjuring films, all those slightly entertaining, full of shit.
I like the first one.
The first one's sick.
And I don't mind the third one. I don't like the second one.
The second one is fairly entertaining.
As soon as you put CGI in a horror film, which you said before, I lose complete interest. Like, I mean, as soon as you put wings on something, I'm like, well, where's that?
Oh yeah, the fucking nun had wings. Didn't
where's Aragorn? Where the fuck's Legolas?
Where is Aragorn?
It just doesn't do anything for me.
Aragorn.
So these were the first 4.
Sorry, I was just thinking of fucking. You say that, and then I just think of fucking Frodo Ball Baggins at the fucking end going. When he walks in, he's just in the bed, and he just goes, Aragorn.
Do you like the Gorn video?
Yeah. Aragorn.
They're taking the hobbits to Isengard. They're taking the.
Mate,
I love it.
So
yeah, they were the first 4. Now, Sarah Good was a destitute woman accused of witchcraft because of her reputation. Now, destitute, what they meant by that at the time was basically she liked to party.
She wanted to get down.
She wanted to get down, have a fucking good time. And because of this, she was accused.
Good girl.
So at her trial,
have a good time. You're not hurting anyone.
She was accused by a Puritan for rejecting ideals of self-control, discipline, when she chose to torment and scorn her children.
He tried it on.
Probably, yeah.
I bet he was like, what, you're telling me I'm the only gazer you're not interested in?
You brought up Jeremy Kyle earlier. If ever Jeremy Kyle was needed, or that type of format, it was needed for this, because a lot of accusations that were made throughout Salem, a lot of it was because people were jealous of other people, as in families that had money and families that did not. So one way they used to get these fuckers was to accuse them of witchcraft so they could try and get into that money. Or they would, so for example, if I was, I don't know what I'd be back then, but someone who had, I'd say I was a landowner.
Yeah.
I had a daughter.
Yeah.
You didn't have fuck all, but you wanted your son to marry my daughter.
Yeah.
Right? And it seems to be as well, a lot of the people that were accused were rich people.
Yeah.
I mean, apart from Tibtuba, who was a slave of a rich family.
Yeah.
It was rich people that were accused. It wasn't poor people, but it was the poor people making the accusations against those that were rich. And a lot of that was because of how those people were treating them.
How'd you get that fucking money?
Yeah.
Magic. Only
and
way.
also how they were, how these rich people were treating them. Like shit, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Puritans didn't give a fuck about who had money. They just wanted to fucking get someone a stake. Yeah. So as soon as...
They had a hard
and you would imagine there's a lot more poor people than there were rich people. So the voice was a lot louder.
Usually.
So the noise was a lot stronger. You know, it was projected more. Yeah. So all you 100 poor people accusing this fucker in a big house.
Yeah.
They were the ones that were put down for it. So... she was accused for it because she refused the ideas of self-control and discipline when she chose to torment and scorn her children instead of leading them towards the path of salvation. Essentially, she didn't abuse
She just didn't take them to...
She didn't take them to church.
And that was seen as
she wasn't abused. Yeah, essentially, yeah.
Basically.
And the way that she lived her life.
Yeah.
It wasn't teaching her children ideals, you know.
Other people's ideals.
Yeah, exactly. Sarah Good rarely attended church meetings. So she was another one that was fucked.
She had to die.
She was accused of witchcraft because the Puritans believed Osborne had her own self-interest in mind following, and this is another one, believes she had her own self-interest because she wanted to marry a slave. She fell in love with a slave.
Yeah.
Whoever this man was, she fell in love with him.
Yeah.
And because that was seen as, you can't do that. You marry your own.
You can't do that.
Essentially, you marry your own.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not talking white people marrying white people. Money. You marry your own status. It could be a black person that had money. I can't imagine there was any around at that time.
Not that time.
But that's what I'm saying. It wasn't anything to do with race. It was to do with stature.
Yeah.
And because there was two levels into one, and they were like, you go fuck it. You're a witch.
There was a very definite hierarchy.
There was no witch, there was nothing to do with witchcraft there. So the citizens across the town disapproved of her trying to control her own life and doing this.
Cunts.
And also her son's inheritance from a previous marriage. So apparently she lost her son, and he had money from her previous marriage. So her ex-husband had left money for the son.
Oh yeah.
She got it. And then she tried to marry a slave. They didn't like that.
Okay.
So, no. Again, you've got money. You're going to give it to a fucking slave.
No.
If you married him. What about us poor people that aren't slaves? We're just poor.
The rich go richer through marrying.
Tibtuba. Now, this is a pretty cool one, actually. So, Tibtuba was an enslaved girl. And she was also the first female to be accused of practicing witchcraft during the 1692 Salem witch trials. So the rest of them were just accused of being witches, but she was the first one actually accused of witchcraft. She was actually doing things, and she actually said she did do things as well. But she wasn't like she wasn't doing anything wrong. She was essentially she was
like a holistic healer type.
Yeah, she was basically she was a slave brought over from the Caribbean. Right. So
hence me and you not being able to say her name properly or not knowing how
Tibtuba.
Tibtuba.
If you listen to it online, it's like Tibuba or something like that. There's like a silent T or something in there. It's not like
okay. Sorry if that's your name as well.
Apologies.
Yeah,
Apologies.
we don't know how to say it. I'm sorry.
But yeah, she was just a lovely woman. There was nothing wrong with her. Although, if you look at, if you do go online, I'm sure Alfie can do this. If not, I'll send you a picture. There was actually...
he loves it when we do that, by the way. He told me the other day, he's like, Alf, stick it up. He's like, fuck's sake, he's got to then Google it.
So there is...
Alf, stick a picture of, I don't know, I don't know, put a picture up of...
Have we just asked him to put anything up?
Will Smith slapping the fuck out of Chris Rock. Put that up. Take it down. Put it up again. Take it down. Now I want a picture of Chris Akabusi. Get on it.
I tell you what, right, I want to put it out there, right. If that was Chris Akabusi laying out Chris Rock, I'd have been all for it. I'd have gone fucking fair play.
Mate, you know what? If Will Smith walked on stage and smacked Chris Akabusi...
Chris Akabusi would kick his head in.
There would be uproar.
Yeah, it would be.
Everyone would... I would enter the nightmares of Will Smith.
I mean, we're going to get off subject a bit now, man, but it's a big topic of conversation. I know you discussed it in your podcast. It's all bullshit, man. Why does anyone give a fuck what any of them do with their lives, man?
I think it's funny.
I
honestly think it's funny. I think it's funny how much people have not looked at it as like fucking...
You've got, like I said to you earlier, man, we've learnt two things, man. Will Smith can't take a fucking joke, and Chris Rock can take a fucking left like a champ, man. Yeah. That's all we've learned. Like,
he was a right.
Well, right or left, whatever, man. He took it and he walked off, man. I mean, I don't really like Chris Rock as a comedian. But then again, they don't, apart from Ricky Gervais, I find anyone they have on there as them shows to be utterly, like, it's just
boring.
They're just but again, I don't understand it, man. We're literally watching a TV show to apparently celebrate actors that are paid millions and millions of pounds to be in films, some that are shit and some that are good, for each of them to blow smoke at each other's ass and say, I'm great. Like, I don't care, man.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. It'd have made it better if they all started fighting, if you ask me.
Yeah.
They're fucking brilliant, man.
Royal Rumble.
Imagine The Rock
Smash
walking on
Bros.
stage just fucking chucking his fucking thing.
Mate,
doing that.
Could you imagine if it was Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, who did the joke? Fucking Will Smith would just be sat there laughing his brains out.
And I've read, I mean, we're going off subject, but it's good to talk, isn't it? You know, and like this whole thing about like alopecia, it's fucking wrong, man. But at the end of the day, it was a joke.
Yeah.
Wrong or right, it was a joke, and no one should be smacked in the face for anything. He should have gone up there and said, or whatever. And said,
Can you apologise to my wife, please?
exactly, man. You know, you kind of lose the right for an apology if you fucking put your hand on someone.
And then you laugh.
And also you laugh.
You've laughed.
Everyone knows, man, that Jada Pickett's the fucking devil anyway, man. She's a fucking... I mean, she's an Amber Heard. It'll come out in 10 years' time that Will Smith got the shit kicked out of him in his private life. Because there's...
Yeah.
You're with someone who blamed you for the reasons why they cheated on you. What the fuck are you doing? Are you mental?
Mental.
Insane,
Oh,
man.
come on, witches.
Anyway.
Let's get back to witches.
Back to it. Well, you never know. Jada might be. Who fucking knows?
Who knows?
Who fucking knows? So...
Who knows? I don't know why I said it like fucking Michael Cannon. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Is Jada Pinkett Smith a witch or not? I don't know. Maybe she is, maybe she isn't.
Fuck knows, man.
Go on.
Who fucking cares? We're going to be at the Oscars next year. We should fucking present it.
Yeah, that's true.
Be fucking great.
Exactly.
I wouldn't give him the award. I'd be like, no one cares.
Yeah.
Right, so Tibtuba wasn't... I've already read it, but I'll read it again. Was an enslaved girl who was the first female to be accused of practicing witchcraft during the 1692 Salem witch trials.
Yeah.
This is the interesting fact.
Yes.
She was a slave owned by the Puritan who was doing all this.
Really?
Yep. Samuel Harris, who was the father of one of the girls who was accused in witchcraft.
Yeah.
Bit of a fucking coincidence, isn't it?
It's a bit of a quinky-dink.
Bit easy to blame, isn't it? So Samuel Parris was the reverend who was father of Betty Parris, and obviously Abigail Williams was also his niece.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. It's all very close, man. This is all intertwined with one another.
Yeah.
So Salem witch trials, when they did them, probably I suppose similar to the Inquisition, but very, very watered down.
Yeah.
They still killed people. They still hung people wrongly. So the courts relied on three kinds of evidence. Confession. I don't know how you can see confession as evidence.
Yeah, like forced.
Yeah.
Basically.
This is the other bullshit one. Testimony of 2 eyewitnesses to acts of witchcraft. Now you got to really look at this. This whole town and this whole idea of witchcraft was built on nothing more than hysteria and just basically fear that someone was out there doing something. So eyewitnesses were probably easy to find.
Yes.
Because they would have seen anything that wasn't the norm that everyone else was following, and that was a fucking act of witchcraft.
I think of if I was to see Alfie wiping his ass. Witchcraft. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
It's like wiping shit on your balls.
Why not? Yeah. Why not?
Witchcraft.
Wiping shit on your balls?
He wipes backwards, doesn't he? Yeah.
That must be awkward for his hand.
Episode 1 of the Goat Sessions, watch that. Honest to God.
I ain't shaking his hand.
Nah, you just bought him some Guinness. By the way, Alf, there's some Guinness here.
Bought you some Guinness, yeah. Enjoy. So yeah, and then the final piece of evidence, which is just mental. So you got confession, testimony of 2 eyewitnesses, and then the third one is spectral evidence.
Yeah.
So now they're like, well, we're hoping we're going to find something supernatural here now.
Some ghosts.
Yeah. So what I've got now is I've got 2 slides talking about basically the 2 famous, the 2 prime accused witches. Yeah. So Tibuta. We've said her name.
Tibuta. Fucking Jesus Christ. So you made a fucking... You typed it wrong.
No.
You put Tituba.
No, that's wrong there. Oh. Tibtuba, I've got it. That's what I'm saying. I've done it fucking...
Okay, so...
Hang on a minute. No, it is
Don't change it. Just
Tibtuba. No, because I save all these. I like to look back on what I've done.
Okay, fair play. Go on.
Because it's like I'll use it like a plan for the next episode. So, again, so nothing's really known about her, other than the fact that she was a slave and she's come from the Caribbean.
What's his name? Samuel Harris?
Samuel Pepys.
Samuel Harris is slave.
It was in his diary.
Yeah. Fair play. Let's go.
Now, apparently it's said that she was named after a tribe that she came from in her local village or town or wherever she came from. She was a pivotal figure in the Salem witch trials because her and obviously the other 2 women were the ones accused of witchcraft, and these 2 girls. Yeah. Now, the art that they believe that she was used to, and then she actually did admit to it.
Yeah.
Was voodoo.
Yeah.
Which is obviously another form of witchcraft, or I don't know really. What would it? I don't know. What voodoo? I don't know. I didn't really look much into voodooism or voodooism. Is that the word?
Voodoo witch.
It's black magic or what? I don't know really.
Yeah.
But she told them two little girls that were the ones that were originally made these accusations. They reported that she used to tell them stories of voodoo from her own land. So Tituba confessed to speaking with the devil in a confession. She stated that he ordered her to worship him and hurt the children of the village. When she was questioned later, she added that she learnt about the occult techniques from her mistress in Barbados. Yeah. So she was actually taught this by someone that she was actually working for back in the Caribbean.
Where she's from? Yeah.
But this woman didn't teach her how to worship the devil. She taught her how to ward him off.
Okay. Yeah.
So it was like I suppose, white magic essentially.
Yes.
It was like she was taught that. So when she came over to, when she was obviously bought and sold in America and whatever, she was not, if she was doing anything, and if she was hearing the devil, if she was doing anything like that at all, it was nothing more than her trying to keep him away, let's say. Yeah. But again, not allowed, so fucked. She was also the main inspiration behind witches riding brooms, because she claimed in her confession that both Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne rode sticks in the air around the village at night. Now, in the confession, it was actually made by Tituba that in most programs and films, she's seen as like the matriarch. She's the main figure. She's the big, even though she's a slave, she's the pinnacle of the evil in all this village. But she, in history, she actually said, no, it was the other two. Yeah. She had all this knowledge, but it was the other two that were devil worshippers. Yeah. Sarah Good and Sarah Osborne. They were the two women that were obsessed with the devil. Yeah. And they just used her as a conduit. Okay. Basically her knowledge, and they used that for it. Yeah. She was released. Yeah. Which is surprising. Yeah. She was released. So a black slave was released. Yeah. How mental is that?
That's crazy.
You would imagine she would have been fucking
back in that day. She's been like, but I'm not. I don't care.
You're black. Yeah. You're a slave. Yeah. You've told in the trial that you have spoke to the devil. Yeah. You've also said that you have been taught things by a previous master that you worked for, and you were released. Yeah. She was then bought by a mystery buyer. No one knows where she went or what happened to her. Yeah, and that was in 1693. She was jailed, so she was never put to death. She was jailed for a year and then released at the end. And she was purchased by an unknown buyer. Yeah, it's insane, that is, because you'd expect out of anyone that would have been killed, it would have been the slave. You would have thought so, wouldn't you? But no, they let her go. They let her go.
Good.
Wherever she is, whoever knows. So Mary Este is the other big one. So she's the one that's linked. She's linked in a lot of films, I think, actually. But again, fuck all. She did absolutely fuck all. Yeah. Nothing.
I want you to read your whole thing with the music. Go on, because I just like it.
What's the music?
Read your whole slide.
Oh. So Mary Este. Mary was accused of witchcraft. It was reported that, and even witnessed in court, that she had the power to control people's movement.
Ooh. Go on, I'm liking this. It's get me off. Go on.
She also had the ability to create spectral versions of herself and haunt locals in the village, or so it was reported. During the trial, when Este clasped her hands together, the hands of Mary Lewis, one of the afflicted by Este, was clenched and not released until Este released her hands. So essentially, when she did that, she couldn't move. She was just paralysed. Yeah. And when she inclined her head, the afflicted girls cried out to have her neck straight and back to where it originally was. So she did that, and her head went back all over the place. Etsy was tried and condemned to death, and September 9th she was executed, and September 22nd.
That.
Pretty horrible, wasn't it?
That was fucked up.
Yeah. But again, this was all stuff that was accused. Now, it's not on here, but when I looked into it, she was accused by her own family. Yeah. And the reason for that was dollar. Big old bank. She was
bank for days.
She was an old bird.
Yeah.
Right. And she
always seemed to be.
And she had a bit of bank. You know what I mean? She obviously had, I don't know, husbands that died, and she had money, and she also had greedy ass children.
When I was talking about the Pendlewitches, like, it was mainly two families that were like pitted against each other and accusing
That's exactly
each
the
other.
same as this.
Well,
yeah.
it's a lot like that and it's also a lot like that in the way that the two heads of the family were women like well into their 80s, and this is the 17th century.
Matriarchs who wants control.
Being well into your 80s, speaking to the microphone more, speak deeply into it. But yeah,
it's
that's fucked up.
It's so yeah. She
But
was.
it's a very
It's just
common trait, like older women, older matriarchs.
You've also got to think as well.
Seem to be living
the whole life
for a lot longer than at the time.
Yeah, but one thing that kept you alive back in them days was money, because you had the best of everything.
Yeah,
and there wasn't a lot of it about. There wasn't anything about that, but in them times there was nothing.
Yeah,
if you didn't have money,
it's the same now. To be fair, that's why I'm so scared that Bono's that rich, because he's not going anywhere.
Essentially, back then you had two things, didn't you? You either had the ability, you had mines, or you had land.
I was a ghost. Sorry, I farted.
Mary Este, she's here. But she got not a nice old dear, I should imagine. They got fucked over by her children.
Yeah.
Essentially, they wanted money.
For money.
And they accused her and got her killed.
Greedy little cunts.
Yeah, little fuckers.
Greedy little cunts.
So,
go on your next one. What's this? Or let's go.
There's literally one bullet point.
I love it.
Okay.
I just love you speaking of this. I think this should be how it goes.
The Salem Witch Trials final execution. So the final execution date was the 22nd of September, 1692. Although the trials went on into 93.
93.
Yeah. But this was the last time they killed people. So 8 people were hanged. Mary Este, Maleficara, Anne Peduta, Samuel Wardwell, Mary Parker, Alice Parker, Wilmot Reed and Margaret Scott. All got fucked.
Yeah.
Essentially.
It seems that there was 2 men there, I think. I think if Wilmot is a geezer's
and
name.
I guarantee, I didn't look into each of the names, I guarantee he was a relation to one of them. Because it's families. It's families that got put in. It wasn't individual. This is
but
very...
then again, like back in the day, like back then, all it was families.
Yeah, of course it was. This is very, very, very different from the Inquisitors, Catholicism. They were aiming for individual people.
Yeah.
It was pure. It was a bit more straight down the line. This was just a fucking glory hunt. People wanted something they didn't have. I'm gonna fucking accuse you and get you out the picture so I can have it. And what was the big hysteria back then? Witches. It was dying out all over the rest of the world, but here it was big news still. So they did it. All so next topic is
black magic.
Black magic.
Get on that fucking slide, you bitch.
So black magic. So black magic has traditionally been referred to the use of supernatural powers or magic for evil or selfish purposes, or magic associated with the devil or other evil spirits. It's also sometimes referred to as the left-hand path. So right hand being that of good, left hand being that of bad. So yeah, it's the right hand counterpart being benevolent white magic. So voodoo has been associated with modern black magic, drawn together in popular culture and fiction. However, while hexing or cursing may be accepted black magic practices, voodoo has its own distinct history and traditions that have little to do with traditions of modern witchcraft that are developed with European practitioners, so like Wiccan and stuff like that, which is very modern paganism. Yeah. Black magic initially had no association with Satanism. It didn't have anything to do with it.
Weren't a part of it.
Because Satan wasn't known before.
Yeah.
You know, the turn of Christianity and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
While the inclusion of demons or spirits is an accepted part of black magic, the practice is different from the worship or deification of such spiritual beings such as the devil. So black magic is seen as being evil, but it wasn't at all, because it was black magic was used to describe magic for contacting the dead. Yes. So it could be someone who's just trying to contact a loved one to just say bye. That was just called black magic.
Where did you put that tenor?
Black magic is basically death. It's some relation to spirits and death. Yeah. The idea of Satanism and demons, the link between there was that book. Yeah. Malius, Maleficara. Yeah. That was what created the whole hysteria behind black magic being to do with Satanism, and it just wasn't. Yeah. They created that hysteria. They created that link. That's not to say that Satanism doesn't exist. Of course it fucking does, and there's been a lot of horrible cults and things and people out there, and I'm sure witches or people call themselves witches that have done some pretty fucking evil shit. You've already read out your true crimes.
Yes, exactly.
They would be people associated with that.
Yeah.
But black magic, essentially, voodoo,
Yeah.
was just the idea of contacting
Hoodoo, power of voodoo, remind me of the Babe.
bringing spirits up to talk to them. That's what it was. The links and interaction between black magic and religion are many and varied. Beyond black magic's link to organised Satanism or its historical persecution by Christianity and its inquisitors, there are links between religious and black magic rituals. The Black Mass, for example, is a sacrilegious parody of the Catholic Mass. Likewise, a seining, through primarily a practice of white magic, is a Wiccan ritual to a christening or baptism of an infant. So it's like the counterparts of one another.
Yeah, it's like as we know through watching lots of horror films, 666 is made to mimic the Holy Trinity.
Yes.
And the three.
Oh
if
yeah,
you get like a satanic knock, it is three.
It's meant to be an insult to the Holy
Knocking
Trinity.
Thrice.
Yeah, which is in The Conjuring.
It is, yeah.
He says, I'm always seeing 3 bangs in the night, and he goes, it's because, that's meant to be an insult.
Insult to the Holy Trinity.
Yeah, exactly. We know a fucking lot.
We do know.
We should write
a weird amount of shit.
So the two big pioneers in black magic were 2 astronomers in Tudor and Stuart times, John Dee and Edward Kelly.
Yeah.
So these weren't Satanists.
These were scientists.
These were scientists, astronomers, philosophers. They had no relation with Satanism at all, and they were also never tried or done for any of this sort of stuff as well. They were 16th century researchers, astronomers, astrologers, teachers. They were deemed occultists and alchemists. They studied the arts of black magic in the hopes of connecting with spirits and angels.
Yeah.
However, held no connection with the devil at all. They just wanted to speak to the dead. Yeah. They just wanted to see what the other side was about, essentially. Again,
is there Guinness?
There you go. We'll find out, won't we?
I need to know.
But there are
before I start believing.
But obviously, black magic is associated with evil because that's what evil people would use. Evil black magic.
Right.
No, because there's a slide. It was in the wrong part, and it was Wiccan.
Okay.
So Wiccan, or as modern paganism is the other term it's used to describe it. Modern paganism. So Wicca is essentially the other hand, white magic. So within Wiccan religion, I won't read it out because I've just got notes and this doesn't really make much sense. Yeah. So the whole premise of Wiccan is about the earth. Yeah. And
being at one with
earth, and they have a belief that there are 2 gods working in parallel, one of the bit like the sun and the moon, one up and one down sort of thing. Goddess and a god. The first one's called a triple goddess, and it's viewed as a truancy of 3 distinct aspects or figures united into one being. So it's a bit like the Holy Trinity. Yeah, it makes up God. They had a belief this goddess, the triple goddess, is made up of 3 things. Yeah, the maiden, the mother, and the crone, each of which symbolises a separate stage in the female life cycle. And often rules one of the realms of heaven, earth, and the underworld. And she's also referred to as the goddess of the moon. The horned god, which would be what?
Simon Cowell.
Big news.
Yeah.
The horned god. I don't know. That took me off.
The big what? What did you call him? Big what?
The big news.
Big news.
The big news.
Satan.
The horned god.
The horned one.
So, the horned god, this is the weird thing actually as well, with Wiccan or paganism, because obviously, I hate using the word paganism because it's not the correct term. Paganism was a term created by some dickhead in charge to I
think it's been modernised.
Yeah, now it is, but Wiccan is the right term. But obviously Wiccan, irrelevant of the name, the whole practice of Wiccan's been around for since before Christianity. Healing, natural healing, all that sort of stuff, the planet and all the world and trees and all that sort of shit. Yeah. So the horned god represents the male part of the religion. And in common Wiccan belief, he is associated with wilderness, nature, sexuality, hunting, and the male life cycle, and he's also referred to as a sun god. Now, the horned god is where Catholicism, Christianity, all of it, all those pictures and tapestries or anything like that, when they talk about the devil being horned, they took it from this. Yeah. So whenever you see like the
Yeah.
it describes the devil, it was taken from this, but it's not.
You do think like when it comes to like
He's not evil. I mean, Satan, if you are to believe the Bible, is evil. But what I'm saying is the inspiration behind what he looks like. That person, he's not. The horned god is to represent me and you. So if we were
horny dudes,
if we were into Wiccan,
some fucking sweet horny dudes.
But that's all it was. It was just a representation of the male life cycle.
Yeah.
But obviously, they used that. They used that as a way to depict Satan, and it was taken off. So when you see that, there's that really famous. Sorry, Alfie. There's something called. There's a picture called The Last Sabbath, where it's basically a picture in the Malius Maleficara.
Yeah.
Of all these witches congregating around, essentially the devil.
Yeah.
And it's a horned goat man, essentially.
Yeah.
And it's from that. They took that inspiration of the devil looking like that from the horned god.
Yeah.
So this representation of man.
Yeah.
From Wiccan, and they just changed it and put it inside and says, "Oh, that's it."
That's it.
And that's where it came from.
That's the bastard.
And that is the end of my tour through history.
There you go.
Ta-da!
That was good. I like that.
Did you enjoy that?
It was.
I put a lot of work into that.
It was long.
Was it long?
It was quite long.
Fucking hell, yeah. When did we start?
You started doing that about 20 minutes in. I think we're at about 2 hours.
Well, I'm on to the next set of slides now.
Well, let's go. Let's have some fun. Look, where's the
Well, to be honest, the next bit we can go on. It's going to be a good podcast. I'm enjoying this one.
Yeah, it's a good one.
I hope you're enjoying it out there.
Yeah.
The world.
Well, let's. Of top 5 witch films. Right, it's time for the top 5 witch films we've got. Right, do you want to go with your number 5 first?
Are we doing one back
I've
and back?
kind of looked accidentally.
Sorry.
Which has pissed me off because your number 5 is sick and I didn't even think about it.
Well, to be honest with you, there's a couple of, actually 5 and 4, I struggle to say they were witch films, but they are in it. There is a witch in both of them. It's just not, there is more.
Who were your number 5?
Are we going 5, 5, 4?
5, 5, 4, 4, 4, 3,
So,
2.
my number 5 is, it's a film I watched whenever we decided to do Witchcraft. It was one of the first films I watched.
Yes.
House of the Devil.
Banging film.
It
is very, very tenuous on the witch connection, but it definitely has one.
Well, no, it is.
There's a witch cult.
You see her as well.
Yeah.
You see her.
But
she's upstairs in the loft.
We have, if you've not seen it, we have just spoiled it for you.
Oh yeah. Sorry
about that.
It's. If ever there was a film that goes off,
it does kind of like lead off like it's gonna. No, it's called House of the Devil, to be fair, but it kind of leads off as if there is more of a serial killer. Scream, babysitter being harassed by a murderous.
We're okay to spoil films on this podcast because at the end of the day we're talking about the films. So I'm gonna, but the whole premise behind the film.
Spoilers alert.
It's
a bit late.
It's a girl. It's basically she needs a bit of cash.
Yeah.
If ever there was a film that's very filmed and looks like it came out of the 70s around all them films, that film is bang on it.
It's fucking.
It's the way it's shot. It's amazing.
So Dee Wallace is in it as well. E.T.'s mum. She plays a very small part.
Yes, she is.
Yeah.
Christ, I didn't even know that.
Do you not notice?
No, until you just said it.
I think she's a realtor at the start, is she not?
Yeah, she is. Yeah. But the premise of the film, she gets hired to, she thinks it's a babysitting role, but then she finds out it's not. It's a house-sitting role, essentially.
It's his mother. It's his mother.
But the pizza guy's in on it. They're all fucking in
They're
on
all
it.
fucking there, mate.
So essentially, it's a cult with a witch.
It's a witch cult.
Yeah.
I would call it a witch cult film. It's a great witch cult film. If you've not seen it,
it's on Netflix.
And we've just spoiled it for you.
Sure.
Is it still...
No, I watched it on... No, in fact, I'm completely bullshitting you. I paid for it on Amazon Prime.
Bugger.
I paid for it on Amazon Prime.
My number 5 is The Addams Family.
Is that why you're so annoyed that I put that one in?
Yeah. No, Addams Family's sick. Like, it is a witch. Grandma's a witch.
Yes, she is, yes.
Yeah, she does the bone and brine. That's the second one.
Which one do you prefer? Because I always prefer the second film to the first one.
Both are amazing. There's no right answer.
I think it's very much like Ghostbusters, where I think I've only ever seen I've seen the second one more than the first one, so I have more of a.
People often bag on the second Ghostbusters.
It's brilliant.
I love it. Both are sick.
Yeah. But I think because
now in a world where we live, where Kristen Wiig has been a fucking Ghostbuster, we can now say that it's sicker than a witch's tit. I mean, it's fucking brilliant.
We're going off again on tangent. I mean, I've watched the new one. I think I've watched it about 4 times now.
Is it good?
It's brilliant, man. The send-off in it and the way they do it.
Don't spoil it. I've not seen it.
No.
We can spoil films for everyone else, but you can't.
I predicted exactly how it was going to end, and it was beautiful, and it makes me cry. I've cried.
Is it a Harold Ramis cry?
I love Harold Ramis anyway because I love two of my favourite films are his films, which are Stripes and Groundhog Day. I love them 2 films.
Good films.
Stripes especially.
2 of my favourite films are his films, which are Ghostbusters 1
and 2.
And Ghostbusters 2.
He died, didn't he? Ivan Reitman died earlier this year.
Yeah, he died as well. February, fairly recently.
Yeah, but anyway,
yes, as we're saying,
God bless Harold Ramis, man. You're a good
family,
guy.
Adam's family. To be fair, if you're gonna have a spooky, fun time, then both the Adams Family films and both Ghostbusters films, you're having a cracking Sunday, son. You're having a good Sunday.
I don't think anything touches my childhood
technically
more
a witch
than
film.
Ghostbusters or them or Adam's Family or any types of them films. Brilliant.
Nothing. But Adam's Family, witch film. I'm standing by it.
I do like,
especially the picture of. Where when the teacher's a bit concerned about Wednesdays, who basically with the witch connection, right? I have a little black cat, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
I have a little black cat.
Didn't see that cat when I come in today, though. I saw you with the cat.
No, she fucks off upstairs.
Oh,
she and that cat is the love of my life, and that cat's name is Wednesday.
There you go.
Yeah, because I love Adam's Family as well. But
did you put Adam's Family on? Was it any particular film or just the whole? Did you watch the new one?
The 2 90s ones. I've seen the first new one.
Oh, I didn't know there was 2 new. I know they're animated.
The second one's come out fairly recent.
They're animated, didn't they?
Yeah.
Any
both,
good?
No, they're shit.
I've never.
Well, the first one's pretty shit.
I lose interest when you animate films.
And that
comes from me.
Yeah, it's like if you have Adam's Family and Adam's Family values, why the fuck are you going to make anything Adam's Family?
I think the problem
you are not going to reinvent the fucking wheel.
No,
those 2 films are fucking brilliant.
I also think
along with the Ghostbusters. I mean, I know you said the most recent one is very good.
It's really good, mate. And I think it's just and then again, this is another reason why I think they probably go animated is because you can't pay homage to something unless you've got them guys to still pay homage to it. And unfortunately, he's no longer alive. And it wouldn't be right to have. I can't remember what he's. I know the only other film I ever know from is Street Fighter because he plays Bison.
Jesus, we're fucking terrible at this.
But yeah, he was. That's if anything describes an iconic role, that would be his iconic role. And she's still alive though.
Angelica Houston.
Yeah, she's still alive.
Yeah,
she was in the last John Wick film.
Yeah,
but you couldn't reboot it because the casting in that film was pretty bob on, like it was
pretty fucking sick. I need to find Gomez because it's really pissing me off that I ain't got his name. But that it's definitely a witch film because another bit in it is where the teacher, as it's Raul Julia.
Yes,
Raul Julia. That's Gomez.
Is he Hawaiian?
With a name like Raul Julia. I think he's probably of Hispanic descent.
I don't know why I thought he was Hawaiian.
Yeah, nor me.
I don't know why.
He doesn't seem or look Samoan in any way.
I still blows my mind that they cast him as Bison in Street Fighter.
I think he could have done anything. It's a shame he died. I loved him. But anyway, there's a bit where she goes to a fucking parents' evening. Morticia does, and the teacher goes, Today we asked.
Even then.
Oh god, yeah. Today we asked all the girls to draw female role models who we have. Someone has put fucking Nancy Reagan, and Morticia says something like, "Oh dear, have you spoke to her parents?" She goes, and Wednesday has drawn this, and it's a woman being burnt at the stake. And she goes, yes, that's Aunt Pecunia Adams, burnt at the stake. But yes, so it's a witch film. So I'm standing by that. Adams Family, witch film.
You could make the argument for my 4 and 5 that they're not witch films. It's just they've got a witch link in it, and I like them films.
You could.
The top 3 are definitely witch films.
Yeah. Right, number 4.
number 4 for me, we've already mentioned several times in this podcast, is The Conjuring, the first one.
The Conjuring, the first one.
I love
It's
that
a good film.
I really do like
It's
that
a good film. It's. Did me and you go watch that at the cinema? I think
No,
we might have. Or was it me and Wilbur? It was me and Will.
I was with...
Because you know the bit
I went with Chelsea to watch
where they are exercising her.
Yes,
and
I think it's one of the better exorcism scenes in
and
most
Patrick
films.
Wilson gets his hand through the floorboards and puts her and like grabs her head like that. And then
we watched
she's
it last
crying.
week around mine, didn't we? You go,
And I turned to Will in the cinema and went, "What's she laughing at?" And then me and Will started pissing ourselves and completely diffused the whole horror situation.
It's a good film, man. I like it. I do
is
like
good-
that
it
film.
is a good film.
I like him. I like
you can definitely see from the first film why it got 2
Yes, definitely.
sequels.
Definitely. The third one is definitely better than the second one, though. But I mean,
Yeah.
I like. I can't remember. Again, I know we're terrible with names. The guy that directs it,
James Wan.
James Wan, he's done some really good horror films. I mean, he did the first Saw film, and then he just
He did the same. Yeah.
He did and the first Saw film is brilliant. I mean, the rest is shite, but
Yeah.
the first one's like a proper good. It's like 7. I like 7. That's like that.
Yeah, it's not half as good as 7. I'm gonna have to stand up.
Oh
there.
no! I'm not saying it's good as 7. I'm
No.
saying it's
It's
like 7.
I get what you're saying.
It's not as good as 7. It's not even in the fucking same stratosphere.
No.
But he's made some really.
What's in the bar?
He's made some really good films like Insidious and Insidious 1 and 2 that he made them. The whole idea of makeup and the use of actual effects rather than CGI.
Yeah.
Like Insidious is one of is in my top 5 favourite horror films of all time, easily without question.
The bit where the witch jumps off the top of the wardrobe, cracking.
Yeah, it's great. But the makeup, the makeup design and all of his characters, like, and Insidious is the best prime example of that. Like I think the woman in black in that film is one of the most terrifying looking people in any sort of film. That whole idea,
especially at the start. You know, in the start of the first one,
and she's just
she's
smiling
out the window.
Yeah, and it's fucking brilliant. The makeup and everything, the look of that film, and The Conjuring.
We went to watch Insidious together.
We did go and watch Insidious together.
And the bit where the title screen.
Oh god, the noise, man! It's amazing.
sick.
And it was so loud in the cinema. It's like,
you don't go to watch a horror film for its title card. I get that.
No,
but if you're gonna have a title card,
but
fair
the
fucking
sound
play.
effects,
That's it was.
the sound effects he has in his films,
Yeah.
it's all silently done. Like there's no like, I mean, he has obviously a soundtrack to his films, but it's all, but it's not like, it's not a musical score. It's effects.
Yeah.
It's a bit like in The Conjuring. One of my favourite bits is not long after, have they moved in at that point? Like Ed and Lorraine Warren, they move into the house, don't they?
Yes.
To help, and I think they all fuck off. And she's in the house on her own, the mother is.
Yeah.
And she gets locked in downstairs in the basement, and you see her on top of at the top of the stairs, and it's quiet. And
She
when
thinks she's playing the
you
clapping
see the hands
game.
come out and just goes.
Yeah.
It's genius, man. It's shit like that, and it's nothing. There's no CGI. It's a person just putting the hands out the shadows and doing that, and it's fucking brilliant. It's really clever. Like horror films, in my opinion, are probably the easiest thing to make if you just rely on what is there.
If you use practical
effects,
because I think usually, obviously we're a big fan of films like The Thing and
definitely.
American Werewolf in London.
Practical effects.
I'm saying like I was just about to say what's
they're really
the easiest.
They're
to do.
extreme examples of practical effects.
Yeah.
But it's still a practical effect. It's still someone making something look real and making it last. CGI doesn't have that impact on me.
It will never do.
It will never will do. So
there's films like American Werewolf in Paris. Sorry to get off on a tangent, but like
talk about films. We're in the film bit.
In horror as a bit, American Werewolf in Paris. It's the CGI on that has aged it dramatically. As whereas,
but the first one
hasn't. It's fucking timeless.
It hasn't. I remember having this.
The same with The Thing. We've mentioned that before. The CGI in the second in the prequel of The Thing.
The T.
Yeah, we've hit that and that today, and that which.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, yeah. Sorry. Go on. Shall I go with my fourth?
Go with your fourth.
I know we went on a tangent.
No, I don't think it's a bad film.
Right,
We're talking
okay.
about films.
The Return. The second, she's in two of mine. Angelica Houston.
Okay.
Witches.
Not that shit remake though. Thank God.
No,
for
not
that.
the fucking shit
Fuck
remake.
me, that's dreadful.
That is fucking awful.
Oh man, that's a great film.
I think
Rowan Atkinson in that is
the
great.
remake of Witches is a better reason to smack Chris Rock than an alopecia joke. Chris Rock was in the remake.
Oh, he's the narrator, isn't he?
He narrates
yeah,
it. He
fucking
technically
hell.
is the grown-up voice of the little lad.
Yeah. Because they flip it around, don't they? And obviously, it's a black grandmother and a grandson as opposed to a white. Mate, I tell you what, man, the whole transformation scene that scared the fuck out of me as a kid, man.
Yeah, dude, the way she fucking pulls the fucking
what the fuck
human
did they,
suit off.
Oh man, what the fuck did they do to that in the new one? They just turned it into some fucking what the
dude, like literally what we were just saying. CGI.
Yeah, it ruins films. Man.
The remake of Witches is a year or two old now.
Yeah, probably
literally is a year or two
probably,
old. Yeah. And the original is still so much better and holds more water.
That whole
than the remake.
scene
it's a fucking spooky kids film, you know what I mean?
Yeah, but even that's pushing boundaries of scary for kids because that whole bit in the scene, that whole scene in the hall room, you know, where they finally can take off their masks and they're handing out the chocolate. It's fucking terrifying.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking...
and she's genius in it. She's really good in it.
Oh, she's amazing in it.
She's really good in it, yeah.
Who is it that played the... I can't think of the actress's name now in the remake. Who plays the Grand High Witch.
Oh, it's... I can't stand her, but I know you're on about... She played Catwoman in Dark Knight
Fuck
Rises.
me,
I can't...
we are bad with names.
I can't fucking...
Anne Hathaway.
She's
Anne Hathaway.
Mate, I can't stand her.
Yeah.
I can't stand her. She's not... I don't know, anyway. But yeah, that
She's
film...
no Angelica Houston.
The only decent thing about the remake, and it's not, is because I really like her.
Yeah.
Olivia... Is it Olivia? The woman that plays the grandmother. She's been in some good films. She's a really good actress.
Oh, yeah.
She's some Octavia.
Yeah.
Is it Olivia Octavia?
I think so.
I know her second name is Octavia.
I know it's Octavia.
But she's really...
Mrs. Octavia.
She's a really good actress. Like, she's played some really good films.
She is in some
but that film is shit.
It is.
Why leave...
Sucks.
There's a thing that should be said for films. Just leave them the fuck alone. They don't need to be changed. Just because they fit...
If you've got a film as good as the original Witches, don't make it again.
And I get it, man. I get it. Like, the whole... I mean, there's a lot of new films being made because...
There's the
be very careful how we say this. Like, they want it to fit. There has to be... It has to incorporate many different diverse cultures and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But some films are just part of that time. There's nothing remotely
the other day
non-inclusive about the original Witches.
Sonny said the other day that the one thing he doesn't really like about Shawshank Redemption is that there's only one woman in it and she gets murdered.
Yeah, because it's a male prison.
Yeah.
What's the problem?
I was like, it's kind of like, how many more women, if there were women in that film, it would feel shoehorned. And I get what he's saying. The only woman in it is a victim.
He has to also consider the time it was written for, when there probably wasn't
50s.
There wasn't women working in male prisons.
Yeah.
There wasn't male prison guards. People need to stop. People need to stop.
Isn't it from the 30s to the 50s?
Yeah,
or to the 60s, 70s that it ends?
He's in for 20 years.
Anyway, let's not get in that.
But yeah, people need to leave. I'm not attacking Sonny or anything like, but like, people need to leave certain films alone just because they came from that time. It's something that's made of that time. It's not an attack against a sect of people. And also as well, that was a book wrote by Stephen King.
Yeah. About
that time. Mm. You know what I mean? You could say the same about the Green Mile. There's only one woman in. There's two women in that. His wife.
There's Frank.
There's three
Tom
women.
Hanks' wife.
Tom Hanks' wife, the woman who lives with him in the old folks' home.
Yes.
And the minister's wife who's got cancer.
It's her. Tom Hanks' gaffer's missus.
Yeah.
Babe's dad's missus.
Yeah, exactly. They're in. Just. People need, you know what I mean? You got to
leave Witches alone, man. The remake is sick. But like the fucking
Rowan Atkinson, man.
Let's talk about the original. The original is
who
fucking
replaced
sick.
him?
I don't know.
Exactly.
That's
the fucking point, man.
Well, let's not dwell on the
Rowan
shit
Atkinson
remake.
is genius.
Let's
in that
look
film.
at the banging The banging original.
I
That
do.
is fucking sick.
I do like
Rate
that
it,
film.
look, fuck. Right, Mo, what's your third? What's number 3?
You've come with a lot of comedy, ain't you? I haven't come with any.
That was it.
Okay, then. So I imagine this is in your list. I'd be surprised if it's not in your list. The Witch. I love that film.
It is.
A bit like with The House of the Devil.
Yes.
I love how it uses imagery.
It's so good.
Imagery to just... You don't necessarily see anything that's necessarily scary.
Yeah.
You don't. It's just... Like, there's that...
It's a very foreboding feeling film.
It's a very... Like, you know something's coming.
Yeah.
You know it's there. It's like, fuck it. No, I mean, my favourite bit in that film, and it is a bit fucking morbid, but the bit where she because obviously the premise of the film is they're a Puritan family, aren't they?
Yeah,
Are they Protestants? They're Protestant is the very inclusive, isn't it? Sex and Christianity.
They do something.
They decide to move out the town, don't they? Because they want to.
No, I feel like they're made to.
Is it because of the way they are though? Because they're incredibly doctrine.
Yeah, something they've done.
It's straight down the line.
They've been
religion.
shunned out of the community.
So
they're
they
made to live in exile, basically.
And they haven't. There's the brother, the eldest daughter, and there was also a baby, isn't there?
There are 2 younger siblings. There's a young lad, a young girl. There's a baby, and then there's the main character of the film is the older daughter.
Yeah, but the baby gets kidnapped, isn't it?
And
disappears.
there's the mum is the woman that was breastfeeding
the crow.
The crow.
Doesn't she? She's breastfeeding, isn't she? Well, she believes she's breastfeeding, and the camera pans around, and it's a bird.
No. She was breastfeeding in Game of Thrones.
She does a lot of breastfeeding scenes, then, doesn't she?
Fair amount of breastfeeding.
Fucking great.
Yeah, you remember in
yeah. She's filming. She's breastfeeding that kid that I'd like to kick in the teeth.
Yeah. That and then the dad is Chris Finch, bloody great sales rep.
Oh yeah. Yes, yeah.
Yeah, he is.
Bloody great sales
Right, my third is the Blair Witch Project. 3. I know you're going to kick me in the face.
No, I'm not at all, because it nearly.
I know where it is of yours.
It nearly didn't make the spot they were in, but yeah.
Oh shit! But yeah, well we'll get to that because I know what's going to go. Come on, 2. Hit me with 2.
2 is a recent one, and it was nearly 1.
Oh.
And it's Suspiria, the remake.
Oh, I haven't seen it.
It's.
I did. Move.
Do you know how long it is?
No, how long is it?
Over fucking 2 hours. It's, you know, like horror films normally an hour and a half, 90 minutes. No, it's well over 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
it's fucking long.
I really want to watch it,
and it does not feel long.
Move told me to watch it in prep for this episode, and I haven't been able to. I haven't had the time. I haven't got my fucking hands on it.
If anyone has got...
I was going to buy it off YouTube. Because I haven't got Amazon.
Well, if anyone out there's got Amazon, you want to lend it to Jen.
Yeah.
Let him so he can use it.
If anyone's got the DVD, just lend it me.
It is... it's brilliant, man. It's got... is it Tilda Swanson?
Tilda Swanson.
She is phenomenal in it.
Yeah.
She is... I mean, they're all... It's obviously it's an all female. Do you know what's great? It's an all female. I'm not going to spoil it for you. But it's an all female cast. There's only one main role that's a male in it.
Yeah.
And Tilda Swanson plays the male role in it. So there's an old guy. I suppose he's a bit like a PI slash.
Yeah.
I don't know, like psychologist sort of thing.
Yes.
And it wasn't until like midway through the film, I was like,
that's Tilda Swanson.
Tilda fucking Swanson. She's playing the male. She's playing him, and he's like 80 years old. It's genius,
get
man.
Sonny to watch it.
I mean,
just after he's watched fucking Shawshank.
I don't think he'd watch that film.
He's not a horror fan. He's not a horror fan.
It's
I think
really.
He has watched horror, but he's not like a fan of it.
It's brilliant, man. It's another film that uses a lot of imagery, but my God, when it fucking kicks off, mate, it's brutal. And like, I mean, I sent you the clip.
You sent me a clip. I didn't want to watch it. I watched a little bit.
Phenomenally done. Like, if you're talking about physical, like actual physical effects, it's. I mean, I won't spoil it, but the premise is this girl makes an accusation. She's like, I'm fucking out of here. I'm gone.
I'm outie, bitch.
And she walks into the... So basically the film is based around a dance studio in... I want to say in Berlin.
Say it then if you want to.
Berlin. We'll go with Berlin.
Go with Berlin.
More disclaimer down here. I might
not be in Berlin.
So there's a dance school, and the dance school is essentially a guise for a witch's coven.
Ah.
And they teach magic through the act of dance.
Through the act of dance. Right, I'm going to watch this.
And Dakota, is it Dakota Johnson?
I don't know. I've not seen it. We know
this.
But like, I
blindingly hot in it, man.
I'm going to
She's
watch it.
Stunning, man.
I'm going to find a way to watch it.
It's really good, man. It's really, really. I won't spoil it. It is. It's mega.
Right, my number 2 is Black Sunday. Banging, old black and white.
Never seen it.
Never seen it.
Fill me in.
It is about a vampire witch.
I feel like we've got some homework now, haven't we?
Mate, you'll be all over Black Sunday.
All over it.
It's about it's a black and white film. I believe it's.
So is it an old film?
Spanish and Italian. Yeah, it's like.
It's not just been done in black and white.
He's 50s, something like that, maybe.
Oh, okay.
It might be 60s actually, but it's a black and white film. It is about a vampire witch who is at the start. She is executed via I suppose you'd call it like an Iron Maiden type mask.
Oh, the old spikes on the inside.
Spikes on the inside, and it's placed on her head, and then some big bastard with a mallet.
What was
fucking
that? Bastard with a mallet.
Because he's got a fucking big. He's got a big mallet, and he's being a bastard with it. If that's what I'm having to say, but he turns up, and he murks her one, and then I'm not going to tell you anymore, but witchery ensues. It's a very good film.
You find Suspiria.
And we'll reconvene.
Or we just get to watch it on one night. That can be our homework, and we can talk about it.
We could just hang out and just watch these films.
I'll do.
But number 1, I know what your number 1 is. I'm going to tell you what number 1 is.
My number 1 is
The Blair Witch.
It is, yeah. Blair
Project.
Witch Project. It's one of my favourite films. Everyone's like, "You're fucking stupid. It's a shit film." I remember having
I'm going crazy.
I remember having this debate with our friend Joe Lane.
Joe,
telling me
you said you knew every word of the film, and he said it's just breathing, isn't it?
It's a fucking.
I know what he's saying.
It's not. I mean, it is, but it's just a great film. It changed it, didn't it? It changed the genre. It really did.
It did. It
reinvented a genre, shall we say?
Because like the first, what you'd probably say is like it's not definitely the first, but like one of the first.
It's
found footage films is Cannibal Holocaust.
Yeah. But I think the one thing that sets Blair Witch apart from any found footage film, even past that point, is the.
I fucking hate this. I was telling them the other day that I'm just going to go handheld. I've done it. I've gone crazy.
Should we just, the next time, should we go full native just around the ears and everyone there?
Yeah.
Just do that.
Go fucking.
But it's,
what's the name? Brittany.
Yeah. We'll do like dancing and stuff. It just changed it. It
definitely did.
The marketing is what pushed that film. I was 7 when that came out. We were 7 when that came out.
Yeah. I remember like literally.
It scared me.
I remember you like obviously one of your brothers
had it on video.
Yeah.
Video.
And we watched the fuck out of it.
I watched that so many times on my own on mute because I couldn't watch it with volume on because I was too scared to watch it with the volume on. And
plus, I remember me and you, me coming around yours. When we say like it was on video, so if we were 7 when it came out, it probably was on video about a year later. Back in those days, it was like now like films are in cinemas and then like
I loved it,
6 weeks later there's DVDs.
And I loved it even more when I got like the DVD later, just because I got to watch the. So when the film came out, I don't even know where they would have televised it.
Yeah,
there was also a documentary they made alongside it.
Yeah.
Which was basically a spoof documentary, but it was fucking perfect.
Yeah,
you wouldn't know it was fake. Like, I mean, the amount of marketing that went into that film when it came out, the internet was relatively.
It was it's a smaller place than it was here.
Infant stages, so people did believe it was a real thing. I've only ever seen Josh. So there's 3 actors now. You got the names of the characters are the same name, their real names in real life. So Heather, Josh, and Michael.
Yeah,
I've only ever seen
a lot like obviously a follow on from this, which is Paranormal Activity started doing.
Oh yeah,
that.
Fucking hell, yeah.
Here's the thing.
Katie and Mika Sloat, the names of them, yeah. So I've only ever seen Josh so out of all of them, Josh is the only one I've ever seen in something, and I didn't even realise it was him.
What was it?
True Detective. First
fucking
season.
Hell, really?
Yes. Have you seen first season?
I've never seen it. No.
Right, so the first season.
I know you love it.
The first season of True Detective. There's a bit in it where Matthew McConaughey's character goes to this biker gang because he wants to get involved with this biker gang to find out about some drugs, and he's one of the bikers.
Yeah.
He's one of the bikers. I was like, it's fucking hell, that's Josh. And the only reason I realised that is because I watched a they do like Comic Cons. There was like a horror con somewhere.
Yeah.
And all the 3 actors were there talking about the Blair Witch, about the idea behind it. And I was like, and he mentioned, he says, none of them act anymore. He says he's the only one that doesn't. He says, I was in True Detective recently. He said that, and that was it. And I was like, the fuck was he in True Detective?
Fucking mad. And you had to watch it back.
Oh, mate, it's great, man.
I remember really, really vividly going around yours, like, just to hang out when we were kids. And then, like, you were like, look what my brother got. And it was like the box art looked like you shouldn't have it.
Scary, man. Like that film. I'm sorry. I mean, you're desensitized now, aren't you?
Yeah.
You
definitely.
really are desensitized. But that film still raises hairs on me because it's not the idea that there's a witch or that there's a fucking monster. It's the idea that you have no fucking idea
what it is.
Not that. Where you are.
I love the fact that me and you were talking about how much we love it once, and the
amount of arguments I have with people that say they don't like it.
And Joe. Like our mate Joe Lane was saying how it's like it's shit.
It's not.
And that geezer cannot watch a horror film. I went to watch Insidious 2 with him. Well, he was there when I was watching Insidious 2 as well.
Which is more of a horror, a crime film than a horror film.
Maybe, but he was literally hiding behind his hands. like I was there going, you took the piss out of me more for liking fucking Blair Witch.
There's 2 films I've watched with Joe. Right, because he wanted to watch them. Blair Witch, and I watched The Thing, both of which he said were shit films. I was
fucking idiot.
Fucking, you're wrong, man.
You're wrong, Joe. I don't know if he watches, but you're fucking wrong.
Blair Witch, man, the marketing behind it, the whole, that documentary is as good as the film, and that says a lot because the film is brilliant. But like, it's not the idea that there's a witch in it, because you never see a witch in it. It's the lore that film creates, because the story's not. It's fake. There's nothing real about it. There's a town called Blair. Aside from that, there's no Blair Witch. There's nothing.
Can you remember going, me, you, and Will going to watch
Blair Witch 3 or whatever it would have been called?
Blair Witch, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just called Blair Witch.
And we
Will fell asleep, didn't he?
Will fell asleep. I mean, I'm going to do some of this. 3 men. One's called Morv. One's called Will. One's called Big Dick. Walked into Resorts World, Cineworld.
Was it?
Yes, it was. They purchased a ticket to see Blair Witch. They watched the film. People looked on in horror at the film that unravelled in front of them. Such horrible sights. Then the film ended. People were beside themselves. And then in between the sound of the film, the silence in between the film stopping and the starting of the credits, Morv says, "Well, that was fucking shit." Literally, honest
I've never been more. I was so hyped for that film.
Yeah, I remember.
I was so fucking hyped.
You
for
were
that
jacked
film
for that,
because I was like, "Yeah, man." Like they do it, and I was like, "Nah, shit."
I remember
fucking Wendigo.
Were we living together?
No, I was living at mum and dad's at that time. It was just before we moved in together.
Because I remember you saying something. I remember seeing you and you were like, "Dude, you seen it? The fucking trailer."
Because it made it out to be really good, man. But it was like they didn't. I mean, the first fucking film, man. There's so many great moments in that film, like the bit where because it's not very long. It's only like an hour and 20 minutes. You can
they're
watch
getting lost. They're doing this.
But like they enter the town, and in that 5 minutes of them talking to like a couple of people that live in the town, but then they speak to that fucking Mary.
Yeah,
who's like super fucking creepy.
Mary's crazy.
And the whole lore is just built from her.
Yeah.
And then they go speak to them 2 people on the river fishing, and they're like, "Oh well, don't go down the creek." You remember that? I saw. You remember
the woman who's holding a little girl, and the little girl is crying,
and she cries, and it's completely. They didn't make her do that. Yeah. She was like, "No," and it's like
the kid probably didn't want to talk.
It's
because,
fucking magic, man.
Yeah.
It's magic, but like. And when she's on, before they even get into like properly into the woods, before they start hiking, and like she stands on Coffin Rock and she reads that bit from that. Just basically, I watched like when they were doing like the Comic-Con, HorrorCon thing, and she says that book was just a fucking map guide. It was nothing in particular. I just had to pretend it was something to do with this. Yeah. And they were talking about it, and it was like it sets up so much lore in such a short amount of time that actually you don't give a fuck about the witch by the time they get in there.
Yeah.
And that bit where they fucking walking, where they're walking all day long.
Yeah.
And they're like, and they end up in the same place, and the screams and
the frustration.
I mean, you know how they did it? So there's no script in that film apart from the first 25 minutes. When they're in the woods, the two guys that made the film, the
Yeah.
two directors, they said, this is your route. You've got to hit these spots,
Yeah.
film along the way, just talk.
Yeah.
You know your characters,
Yeah.
just play it and film it.
Yeah.
But we're going to give you, we'll give you like a scenario, but we haven't got a script. We can't afford to write. You know, this is just.
Yeah.
This is what we want you to talk about. Just go with it, and all of it is just ad libbed.
Yeah.
It's just all they just did it all, and they didn't know what was going to happen to them. So like when they woke up in the night, they didn't know they were going to hear them noises. They just said, "Expect something tonight. We're going to do something. React to it."
Yeah.
And when they shake the thing, and you can hear the kids playing outside the tent, it's
Yeah.
fucking genius.
Yeah.
But that bit where they walk into the
Scary
woods
shit.
to see the totems
the stick
and the stick
figures.
people, and I'm like, it's shit, isn't it? It's nothing. But just imagine being lost and walking into that shit after walking.
That's what it is. That's where the fear in that film comes
lost.
from. The fear of being lost.
Yeah, it's not the witch.
Not
No
knowing
one
where
gives
you
I mean, if you was in that situation, would you give a fuck what was chasing you at that point? You just want to get the fuck out of Dodge.
I'd want to fucking go at it, but at one point.
It's brilliant, man. It's brilliant, man.
So my number one is The Witch. Yes, it's The Witch.
It's a great film.
I think it's a fucking amazing film.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I think everything about it, the mood, the pace, the story, I love it.
Brilliant film.
Black Phillip, what a fucking badass. He's just the goat. He's the best goat I've seen in a film. It's one of the reasons this pub's called The Goat.
It's because of that.
Yeah, it's because Black Phillip.
You know when
is
she's
a bad
in the
man.
barn and she turns and she sees like a man dressed in like a Spanish.
It's like you see Black
feather in
Phillip's
his head.
first front legs walk past, and then you see a man's legs.
It's a good
How do you
film.
reckon they filmed that? Do you reckon they literally had to?
I don't know.
There was a man dressed in nice clothes, and he was literally wheelbarrowing a goat.
It's funny, isn't
That
it?
would be good.
You look at like our two top films.
Yeah.
I can't imagine they cost a lot. I mean, the Blair Witch didn't cost. I think it cost $15,000
No,
to
speak
film.
to the microphone.
Cost $15,000 to make. I can't imagine it cost a lot. I can't imagine that cost a lot.
Yeah.
The House of the Devil. I can't imagine it cost a lot to make.
Yeah.
I really can't imagine.
Compared to
Like The
films
Conjuring.
that are
Fucking
shit.
hell. Yeah.
Obviously, that's not what shit.
No, but I mean, like, okay, like I don't know. Pick a new traditional horror that's just come out. Like, I don't know because unless they really do something.
Hubie Halloween.
There is, but unless there's something I really want to watch, I'm not remotely interested in horror films unless it's something that really grabs me. And the thing is, they don't make horrors like that, and if they do, they're very independent and they go straight into something. Because I don't think
they'll go straight onto a streaming
mass
Creep.
Yeah.
Creep 2.
Mass populace doesn't like them types of films because it's too suggestive.
Yeah.
Like there's too much. They want to see something to frighten them rather than have themes to frighten them.
Yeah.
Themes are what frighten me. It's why I like films about houses, hauntings, and stuff like that because it's suggestion. It's not. I'm going to see a fucking nun turn into a dragon. That's not scary.
Who wants to see that?
No, well, but they do though, don't they? They love it. People love that sort of stuff. It's not that. But The Witch is really good at just putting imagery.
Yeah.
All three of them films, Blair Witch, House of the Devil, The Witch, they all use imagery.
I think that
perfectly.
I think the film out of all these films that I have watched, I need to watch Suspiria. Obviously, you collectively we have watched. You need to watch Black Sunday,
I'll watch that.
and I think like obviously Witches and Adam's Family, and what else did you say?
House of the Devil.
Yeah, and I need to watch Suspiria.
Suspiria.
I reckon those would be the top 5.
Suspiria,
if I watch Suspiria, and
it's funny, right? If I was to have watched Blair Witch for the first time in the last couple of weeks, and Suspiria would have been number 1.
Yeah,
quite easily. It's just because what Blair Witch meant to me, and for like my whole love of horror films comes from that film.
Well, I was saying like I was saying earlier, like
it's the first horror film I ever watched.
Like,
I reckon.
Like photo memory of coming around your house. We drew the curtains. We spooned. No, we didn't. And you put the video on and we sat there. Like it was in broad daylight, but we tried to make it as dark as possible.
Most definitely the first horror film I ever watched. I mean, like on my own. I'm sure we watched it, but I think it's definitely the first horror film I watched, and it's. I mean, look at what it created. I mean, you can say what you want about Paranormal Activity, but the first one is genius.
Yeah, the first one's good.
And but a lot of things like Witch, it's just such a shame because they don't inspire anyone to do them types of films. It's very rare they do, and if they do, they go straight to streaming services, which I suppose is great. But like,
it's good for people that look for it.
You don't get made like that anymore. I mean, I didn't even know about. I think you showed me the House of the Devil.
Yeah, I did. Yeah,
It wasn't. I didn't even know about it.
I was obsessed with it. Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't even know anything about it. And then I watched
it. Was just it's a film that was stuck on Netflix.
We watched
I'd
it.
never heard of it before.
We watched it at my house in Birchmoor when I lived there.
Yeah.
Me, you, and Will did.
Yeah. It's a great film.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about it. It was great.
Right, we've skated around this fact all bloody for ages since we started. We've skated around the fact, but who is the best witch in the world? Fucking Sabrina, the teenage witch. Here she comes. Hang on, she's got something to say.
As if.
What a kooky bitch.
Would you fuck her aunts?
Do you want the long answer?
Yes. No, I'm
Yes.
answering my own question.
Yes, I would.
Wasn't the older one, the other one?
Velma, probably.
Will slightly look like she
It's-
would go on it like a dog on hot chips.
Yeah, the more stick in the muddy of the two.
Yeah.
Probably.
I'd have kicked that cat though.
If that cat...
Back chatting little prick.
honest to God, right, I'm happy my cat isn't a back chatting dickhead. Because I've got a black cat. She doesn't say any stupid shit. She doesn't do that with like, laugh like a bellend. But Melissa Joan Hart as well as Sabrina.
She's in
I'm calling her Sabrina from now on because it rhymes with vagina.
She's in that really shit fucking like I'm gonna like really shit sitcom comedy thing now. I've seen her a few times.
Is it?
Yeah.
I know she's a big Trump supporter, wasn't she?
No, I mean, well,
She was at rallies and shit. Yeah.
I mean, if you can get anyone to support him, it might as well be Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
Johnny Rotten supports fucking Don.
Yeah, but he's a knob, isn't he?
He's a knob now.
I think he was always a knob.
Yeah, but at least when he was a knob, he was in a pretty decent band.
I didn't like the Sex Pistols.
I know you do. I do.
There is one thing I think we should mention because we have discussed about. We had a text you the other day, and I want to do it. I mean, I've actually already started to write some things down.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a short, aren't we?
We're doing a short.
We're gonna do a short.
It's gonna have nothing to do with Sabrina.
It's gonna have nothing to do with Sabrina. No.
Sabrina the
Sabrina
teenage.
vagina. The teenage.
Oh, well, just quickly, we will touch back upon that. But I want to talk about. Seems we're talking about Sabrina. We might as well talk about Buffet. We did talk about Buffet, but we didn't mention the witch. There's a lot of witches in Buffet. One of them being Alison Hannigan, who is Willow in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and
Wrong Turn.
I really fancied her when I was a boy.
Wrong Turn.
She's also in American Pie. She stuck a float in a pussy. Sadly, not filmed or put on.
Oh, hang on a minute. I'm thinking of the wrong fucking woman.
Yeah, I think you are. Yeah,
I'm thinking of the other Vampire Slayer in Buffy. That's in Wrong Turn.
No,
Sorry, I was thinking Fit. I was like,
I'm talking about Alison Hannigan.
yeah, I know. I'm not with you, but I appreciate that you like her.
I used to fancy her. I don't really fancy her now. It's not.
No,
like
you did used to.
thing.
Remember? Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, Willow.
Yeah.
But like, she was going out of Werewolf as well,
Seth Green.
and I'm a big Werewolf fan.
Seth Green. Remember the name?
Fucking
Of an actor that's not been relevant for the past 15 years.
Mate, I just said Melissa Joan Hart. Give me some fucking props. I bet she don't remember her fucking name. She's been just she go. Everyone's going, it's you. She goes, yes, it's me, Melissa Joan Hart. And they go, no. And she goes, yeah, okay, it's Sabrina. It's me, Sabrina. Have you got the black cat? No, it's a puppet. It's a fucking puppet. But yeah. So I wanted to mention, and there was also there was a lot of that 90s. I've not seen The Craft.
Oh fucking hell! With Nicole Kidman and
What?
is it Nicole Kidman?
I'm thinking of the teenage girl, 4 teenage witches.
Oh, I'm not thinking of that. I'm thinking of the film with Sandra Bullock in and Nicole Kidman where they're witches.
I think
and they kill their boyfriend. One of them kills the boyfriend, and he comes back to haunt them.
Yeah, I can't remember that.
It's definitely a film. I'm not making that up.
It does sound like a film.
Alfie, there's a film with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman where they play two witches, and Nicole Kidman kills or accidentally kills her boyfriend.
What's the Witches of Eastwick? Isn't Cher in that?
That's Bruce Willis, isn't it?
I don't think it is.
Bruce Willis is not in that film. He's in the other film where he builds them women back from looking like...
That's Death Becomes Her. Death Becomes Her is a fucking...
We know horror films aside from that.
That could be construed as a witchcraft film. There is a potion. There's an anti-aging potion that stops you dying.
It's also got... We're not mentioning names. We're going to go down a whole fucking rabbit hole of not knowing names.
That's also got Kurt Russell's missus in it, Goldie Hawn. Remembered another name. It's not gonna. It's never. I can remember every name I ever want to know, but nothing's gonna top Melissa Joan Hart.
Remember the that
fucking
what the fuck was the name? We used to watch shit horror films, didn't we, just for the sake of it? And there was that woman that was in all of like the 80s crap, early 90s films, blonde hair. And in that one film, that one film, remember, she plays like an old rock star, like get pissed up all the time because she can't remember her old life.
Rebecca fucking De Mornay. Rebecca fucking De Mornay.
Rebecca De Mornay.
Yes.
In that one film, she plays like a failed rock. What horror film is it? She plays like a failed rock star.
It's called like Apartment 137.
That's it. Yeah, we watched it.
It might be called exactly that.
It's dreadful.
There's a bit in that film where the main girl.
Rebecca De Mornay.
Her mother is Rebecca De Mornay, who is a failed rock star, who blames her failed, like, openly and orally.
She blames it on her daughter.
She blames it on her daughter. She's like, if you were born, I'd still be at the top of the charts.
I would imagine.
Straight to her. Fuck me, De Mornay.
I would imagine
it in.
that's the way she's in real life about her acting career.
Yeah.
Apart from
one of her kids has been blamed.
Yeah, because she's fucking been in some horrendous films. Like,
but she was. But yeah, there's a bit in it where the girl, Rebecca De Mornay's daughter, not real daughter, Rebecca De Mornay's on-screen daughter in this film, is walking around the haunted apartment
in a brand new complex where
it's haunted, but she's going, where did I get this? Oh, can't have enough ashtrays. I remember when I bought this yellow hat. She's just talking to herself about everything she's doing, and it's completely unbelievable. But me and you watched it, and then every time Rebecca De Mornay came on,
she'd just be there, sloped in the fucking in a failed recording studio with a guitar in her hand, and like stereotypical rock star with a fucking bottle of Jack Daniels and going, "Remember when I used to be so good?"
Yeah,
number one. Like, no one does.
No one does, Rebecca.
No one remembers your films. Ironically, what you're doing right now is you're basically just playing yourself.
Rebecca De Mornay.
That can't be a real name.
Rebecca De Mornay.
That is a porn star of the 70s name.
Yeah. Do you think she would have done porn unless... Because she was in something or other.
I would imagine that porn was on the table when that film came along. She was like, this is going to be a hit.
Or a slightly mentally abusive mother who's an ex-rock star.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with that one.
Gangbang or abusive mother?
I know what I'd do. I'd take the cop. Bring the boys. Tell them to stay away from me fucking eyes.
Fucking manding.
Yeah, I mean, fucking, I will bring the boys in. Come on, fill me up. I ain't.
You know.
Dude, like, they'll ring up and they'll be like, I would have played it, and then they're like, De Mornay's on the phone. She says yes. I'm like, fuck. I'm getting spit roasted by these lads. Shit. But yeah, we're gonna make a short.
We are.
What have you got written down then? What's your
Well, I had a little bit of a...
Let's have a bit of a teaser for the people. Because this is a long one. We have done a long one.
I wanted to, if you wanted to. I wanted to do something very much in the ilk of like old school phone rings, voices heard, couple in house, one disappears, the other one dies sort of thing. But you don't see them. It's all like very... I wouldn't say found footage. I don't want it to be found footage, but camera behind backs. So I had this idea of like calling it like, I don't know, The Priest or something like that. Yeah. So like, let's say
he's very close to the nun.
Yeah, but better than that.
Yeah,
fucking hell.
We've got the outfit.
Exactly. So I just thought, like, let's say a couple. The phone rings and they pick up the phone, and down the phone there is, confess your sins.
Yeah.
What the fucking hell was that?
For anyone hard of hearing, Maul just whispered,
sins.
confess your sins.
Put the phone down.
Yeah.
The couple go to bed.
I'd love it if just went like, picked the phone up and went, no. I just went back to
But
watching Emmerdale.
you need a house. I mean, your house has got a long hallway, hasn't it?
Yeah, that's
and I
right.
had an idea of like, let's say,
Shall we put the same thing? Like, shall we put a suit of armor, a picture on the wall that has moving eyes, and a grandfather clock, and just film us running past the same things
my premise
over and over again?
I like the idea that
like
like
Scooby Doo.
someone disappears. Say like the male disappears.
Yes.
He disappears, and she goes upstairs to find him, and she looks down. They say the camera's behind her.
Yeah.
And she turns her up, a bit like The Shining.
Yeah.
So the camera's following her upstairs, and then it follows her. So she's already round the corner before the camera gets there. So as the camera goes round, she stops and she looks up the hallway. And I had this vision of just like him being on the floor on his knees with his hands clasped up in the air,
Yeah.
but being completely stark bollock naked, and all you
Yeah.
can see is a silhouette in front of him of a priest.
Yeah.
And then as she panics, turns around, and then you can't see the head of the priest. You just see this part, and
Yeah.
it goes black.
Yeah.
I just thought it looked really cool. I've just spotted now, so we don't need to film it.
No, that's just spooky shit. That's like a teaser trailer, though.
Yeah.
Me and Wolf could be like
10 minutes. That's what it is.
the saviour of horrors.
10 minutes,
if we
that's what it needs to
tried,
be,
and
but
if it had any expertise in it.
We have discussed it. I think we should do it for
I think we
a
should.
later episode.
Yeah, yeah.
You've got the perfect house because you've got the long upstairs hallway.
Yeah. They're in every horror film.
We should do it.
Long hallways.
You and Becky could be the stars.
Yeah. Yeah, we could be. I could kill her. I'm not going to kill her.
We should do it.
Should do it.
We've discussed it, haven't we? We've discussed before writing something, though, didn't we? We were going to come together and
Yeah,
do
and do
something. But
something
I wouldn't mind
for
doing
fun.
some. I don't want it to be like a comedy. I want it to be like, hopefully
Yeah.
try and get some legit fear into it. Like,
yeah.
film it all on a phone,
I
man.
think you overestimate my acting ability.
Don't need to act.
Okay.
Will you?
I'll have to be genuinely scared then.
The only one's really going to speak would be
I'm
the
there going, all right. Yeah.
But no, we'll
Okay.
figure it out, can't we? But we're going to do something like that, I think, for a later episode, aren't we?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
we
we're
will.
gonna do.
We will. So let's. Use your fucking ghost, you prick. So we're still doing the Give Us Your Ghost.
I've got a few now.
You got a few now.
Yeah,
you
some
got a
people
few.
from work
I've
give me
got-
some stuff.
We're gonna get some good stuff for Halloween month.
Ask the lads on the goat sessions.
I will. I think we've had a discussion about that before.
Obviously,
I think
Sonny won't do it because
basically
he doesn't believe in it.
Sonny
you know.
just went, I ain't seen anything. And Alf went, neither have I. And Mitch went, I did.
That would do.
Yeah. I'll just talk about it again.
That episode's going to be a long one, I think. Even if we don't get many things. I mean, have we had anything come from the emails?
I haven't asked Alf about it. Alf's the man with the plan, aren't you, Alf?
Alf.
Alf. Not alien life form.
Oh, no,
Alf,
not
find alien life form as in Alf and put a picture of him up, please. But yeah, thanks for watching. This has been Witchcraft.
It's been a really good one, I think.
I think it's been
been
good.
very,
You've gone crazy on this
Gone
one with
crazy.
your information.
Well, I came away
It
from
was very, very, very educational.
part 2 feeling a bit, I wouldn't say negative, but just feeling like it wasn't that good. But then when I watched it back, I was like, it's fucking brilliant, part 2 was.
Yeah.
I really, I've watched it twice now. I was like, it's brilliant.
Yeah.
Hello?
No, sorry, someone just spoke to me.
We haven't brought our friend on, actually.
We didn't. Do you want to go get him?
Shall I bring our friend on?
Right, pause.
Hello. Welcome back to
Welcome back.
part 2.
We have our witchy familiar here. Obviously, we spoke about black cats. Here he is.
Now, who do you think's under the mask, though? That is the question.
This isn't my Cat Wednesday. I've mentioned my cat in this episode, and this isn't what I think is an actual cat.
It's a very suave cat, isn't it?
But who is behind? Is it an old friend? Maybe from an old episode.
He didn't come out last episode. We thought we really did focus on him quite a lot on the first
I think
episode.
now you know who it is. Take it off. Reveal.
Oh, shit. Hang on, play the impact music.
Go on in.
Go.
It's the face of Chris Akabusi on Robert Patterson's body.
He's back. Akabusi's back.
This has been stood in the pub ever since episode 2, part 2
Part 2.
of the Wolf Thing Witch Massacre, and this has terrified everyone that has come into the pub.
He's back.
So he's back with a vengeance. So from me, from Morv, and from Chris Akabusi, thank you for watching part 3. We will be with you soon. Well, in the next month we will be. We are doing. I think we're doing cannibals.
Cannibals next.
So it's going to be a lot of me.
It's going to be a quiet month for me.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of me.
Before the intermission.
I could do it now. I know so much shit about cannibals.
I think before the intermission, I said, like, the last episode, I came away, I think it was a bit, but it wasn't. It was brilliant.
It's going to be jank heavy.
It was really, really good, but we tried to put a bit more structure in to the episode. But it's great what a jingle can do.
It's great what a jingle can do.
It's great what a jingle can do. So
thanks for watching. Yeah. It has been a long one, but I hope you learned a lot about witches.
Peace.
I'm going to teach you about some fucking dickheads that eat dickheads. I love you.
Stay away from the darkness.
See you later.